Give me coffee in the morning, gotta have the caffeine. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me back on pussy. One sip, two sips, and I'm feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive. Woke up in the morning, sleepy eyes yawning. Jumped out of bed, started the day, opened the curtains. Felt the cool breeze, the sun shining on my face. But something was missing, I needed my job to chase. Give me coffee in the morning, give me coffee in the morning, gotta have the caffeine. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me back on pussy. One sip, two sips, and I'm feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive.
Good morning, everyone. I cut myself all sideways here. I was looking for my publicly buzzed coaster to put my coffee on. And I'm like, where did it go? It was under my clipboard. It was hiding from me. I don't like that. Welcome into the big show, everybody. We got a lot to cover today. My goodness, true crime never seems to stop or sleep. Welcome in, welcome in. Y'all know the routine. We're starting a little bit late this morning, but I had a phone call. All the good things, but grab your coffee, your tea, whatever your morning vice might be. Hell, throw a little whiskey in your cup if you need to. It might be one of them weeks. Who knows? I'm looking forward to the weekend. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Good morning, Firefly and Butterfly and Forrest and Rachel. I think you are in here as well. Thank you, mods, for coming in. Thank you, Firefly. Guys, we got a lot to cover today. We're going to start to unpack the yogurt shop murders case. Oh boy. There's a lot there, actually, because there's a whole backstory, behind all of that as well. And I also have a whole presentation from CC Moore on her work on that case, and that's super interesting. Don't know if we'll get to that today because it's kind of lengthy, but we might watch a little bit of it because she talks good. There's a lot of good information about the backstory of the actual killer and how that came about. Sorry, get my notes here. So we had another. Remember, guys, the other day when Dolphin was here, we were unpacking that Dylan's interview that we saw, and we're like, this is not the whole interview. It so appeared that they came back into the room after a break, and that's exactly what that was, because the conversation picks up about, so was it you that saw the shadow figure or was it another roommate? And they start the conversation. He's trying to clarify. You could absolutely tell. Well, now we have the whole video, so we were right all along. The first clip we saw was part of their further conversation. The girl says some stuff in there, y'all, that makes it real hard to 1,000% get behind this girl. And I'm not being ugly. I'm not being shady. I'm just being honest. Because if we can't be honest, I don't know what we're doing here. And if we can't realistically look at stuff and have a conversation about it, what are we doing here? If things pop off in a true crime case we've been following for years and we ignore it and don't cover it because we'd rather talk about what's happening, It's weird. Did my connection go away for a second? I got a notification that said I did. It's like you're talking too much. Shush. So we're going to take a look at that full interview and look at the peculiarities and some of the things that she said. Because, oh boy. Hey, Pokemon, good morning. I saw you on the mean streets last night over there checking out those publicly buzzed body cam videos he's been doing. I'm loving that little show. It's intriguing, right? Because I watch that kind of stuff randomly when I'm doing nothing in the backyard, chilling or laying in bed, and yeah, and so it's cool that he's doing those now. Danger Zone is flying in. I just made a fresh pot and went and grabbed a cup right before we started. I'm like, it might be rude to say, "Hold up, guys, I'll be back." Dramatic pause. It is good to see Shelly Forrest. She's been MIA on us for a minute. And I was gonna go hit her up and find out where she's at. Then I ran into her last night out there on the streets. All right, so we're gonna also get to that. Singer David. Oh boy, oh boy. We all know on these YouTube streets and covering true crime and all of our YouTube defense attorneys out there, what have we been told for years now? Lawyer up, don't talk. And we're all like, yes, lawyer up, don't talk. Guess who lawyered up? David. And he got himself one of those little fancy high profile attorneys. In fact, she was Weinstein's attorney. So are we running scared or are we being smart? Which is it, Mr. David? I'm not sure yet. And I also just got something sent to me, and I haven't had a chance to review it yet concerning that case as well. All right. And I was on a construction crew. My son was the foreman. Oh boy, did he yell at you, Mom? He's like, Mom, you're not doing that right. And did you turn around and yell back, Son, hush it? I taught you everything you know. Oh, goodness. Goodness. All right, we're going to get to starting to unpack some of this stuff here. Let me review this that I got real quick. The private investigator doing all the talking is Steve. I take Steve Fisher with a big old grain of salt. Big old grain of salt. I like a lot of his work, but I use my senses out here on these streets. I've seen a lot of stuff from a lot of different people. Yeah, this is, yeah, okay. This is kind of what was in some of the other articles. Okay, let me get this video. We're going to watch a little clip about David. We're going to get the small stuff out of the way before we get on to the big stuff. Was you ready to throw fist? We have a saying down here in the South, you want to throw fists? Bring it, baby girl, bring it. Don't tell a Southern girl to pull up, because she might pull up. That was on the news here about 2 years ago, and the report was so crazy because the one girl, they got in a fight on the phone or something. So the one girl tells the other girl, well, pull up. Well, 10 minutes later, old girl pulls up, and it didn't end well. Don't do it. You can't tell some people to pull up, because guess what? They're about to show up at your door. And then what you gonna do? Play Billy Badass some more? Oh, there I go cussing again. I'm gonna get in trouble with the YouTubes again. I got in trouble yesterday. I may not be ad friendly over here. I'm not sure if it's because I'm a cussing or because I'm a content. It could go either way. Okay, so here's the piece about David and his, what is her name? I got it wrote down. Her last name is Burke as well, but it's spelled different. Blair Burke. She's the attorney to the stars. Where's David getting all this money? I mean, come on, you got your little Spotify account with all your hanger-oners over there throwing money at you to hear your music, but you just launched your first tour. You're not a well-known, huge celebrity. Where's all the money coming from? Who hired your high-profile attorney there, sir? Okay.
We speak, especially now that we know Blair Burke is on the team?
He better be shutting his mouth. He better be absolutely quiet. He better be at home, wherever he is, doing.
Ma'am, have you noticed he has been quiet? He hasn't said a word. He forgot how to talk all of a sudden, like most of them.
Nothing, not going anywhere, not talking to anybody, and just doing everything that she tells him to do, which is just sit there until I tell you what to do.
But what about the full download? Is this attorney saying, David, I need to know every single movement? Or is this attorney saying, don't tell me, I don't want to know, I just need to do my job?
Personally, I never ask until I need to, because that's not the point. The question is, what is the evidence that they have? What is the evidence that's out there? And I don't ever want to, there may be something that my client says that isn't in the realm of evidence, not because that they're guilty. A lot of times I have clients who tell me, I wasn't there, I didn't do this. And I say, hold on, I don't even want to know, because within the facts that they are giving to me, this already is not provable. So I don't want you to clutter my brain with what they have, because already within this universe, I can defeat these charges. So
Oh, wow.
don't clutter my brain. I'm working on what the evidence is, because they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
She's, lady, if you work in true crime or crime, and she's like, don't clutter my brain. I say that to myself all night long when I'm reviewing 10 things at one time. Holy cow.
And if they can't, that's all I need.
So do you think it's possible that, I mean, here we are going on a month, right? And radio silence from the LAPD, no suggestion that this guy is a suspect or a person of interest. Is it a tactic to keep things quiet and allow the target to let his guard down and think that he's skating and is now free to roam about the cabin and talk to anyone he wants?
I mean, you never know why they're doing what they're doing. You never know what the state of their investigation is. But I think the LAPD, especially in cases like this, where you've had these, these cases long time ago where you find these women dismembered and horrible situations, and the LAP just really did not know what to do with these investigations. I think that their PR and their attorneys are telling them to be quiet too. They just don't have enough information to give any kind of information out into the public. So I think that if you're an attorney for the LAPD, if you're an attorney for the city of Los Angeles, you guys say absolutely nothing. You say nothing until you know exactly what's happening. And in this case, I cannot imagine that there's ever going to be a point where we know exactly what happened.
I'll say you don't usually see a Tesla like this as beat up as it is. It's marked all over the spoiler with marks, white marks, and it's got a big dent in it. You don't typically see it sitting in a Hollywood Hills neighborhood that has like super expensive topiaries right beside it, It's just sort of a confounding sight. But I am curious about the toxicology. Do you think that that's the linchpin to all of this, that either they're waiting on the toxicology still weeks and weeks later, or they have every ability to put it at the front of the line when it's a high-profile case?
I think they have the ability to rush it. They have the ability to put it to the front of the line, absolutely. But again, I think the more information the LAPD puts out piecemeal, the worse it is for them. They just absolutely should not be doing that. They would be insane to give out pieces of information when they don't have an entire theory of prosecution.
Big question.
Is that why they're staying silent? Do they know a lot more than we think they know? You know what I mean? It's always curious to us as to why so silent. We're so used to it anymore. They're just going to stay silent. They'll come out with their little statement. Keep it close to the chest, all the usual stuff. But we can't help but wonder, what more do they have? What do they know, and what do they not know?
Question here. There's two issues, and
I'm gonna tell you right now, if there's no USB in that glove box with all the video downloads from the car, I'm gonna want to know exactly who took it out of there and why. And don't be lying to me, little boy.
Not the least of which is that this is an underage girl. Did not make her 15th birthday. She spent it rotting in that trunk. Is it possible that there'll be no charges at all in this case? No murder, no sex charges, no underage crimes with children? Like, what do you see coming out of this, at the very least?
What is the evidence that we have that any crime occurred? Well, we know that there's a body in a trunk. But what evidence do we have connecting David to any actual crime? She told her friends that he was that they were in a relationship. What does that mean? She left her house. That was a very, very troubled situation. How do we know that he had anything to do with that? There's no evidence against this man for any crime that I can see.
How about witnesses? How about witnesses? Because the friends of David spoke with TMZ, and they all held out that they thought that they were a couple. They held themselves out as a couple. She said that she was 19 and a college kid, and they were absolutely romantic.
Proving my point, if he thought that she was overage, then it's not a crime. And
do you think that David knew her real age the whole time? That he was just as in the dark as the friends were about her actual age? Yeah, the body in the trunk is, but her point is, and I've said this, we don't know how she died. Now, drug overdose, if that's a possibility. Did she take the drugs herself, or did someone force her to take them? That will probably never be known if drugs show up in her system. But if they're sitting around the house partying, she falls out, she overdosed, and somebody panics and put her in the frunk, whatever you want to call it, that's negligence, but not murder. And I'm not taking up for David whatsoever. This is a whole gross situation. But from a legal standpoint and a prosecution standpoint, you have to understand that stuff, right? That's what they're waiting on. This toxicology is to find out. They know she wasn't pregnant. They've determined that. They don't know the cause of death, but we do need to know how she died. That's absolutely important to figure out if we can get a murder charge or not. That's my thoughts as well, Dolphin, that he absolutely knew, and he kept hiding her on streams and stuff, but people in their world knew all about her. Seems like a lot of people knew where this missing girl was all along, like I've been saying. And her parents were apparently at home having the cops called multiple times for various reasons while their daughter was running amok.
But what does...
Oh, that's not true. Ignorance of the law. You can't have a relationship with an underage girl and say, well, she told me she was 19.
Hire me if that ever happens. Because I think you can.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
Well, if you've been in a relationship with this girl for at least over a year, and she's running away from home and going back home, I think that's a pretty good indication she might be a minor, David. I'm not buying that he didn't know. I can absolutely understand that the friends may not have known. I'm not blaming the people around them for anything. If I'm going to blame people for this child's situation, I'm going to blame the parents and the man who she was with, right? We're not going to blame the friends. If the tox comes back clean, he's more likely to be arrested. Why? Like if there's no drugs in her system, they still got to prove that she was murdered versus some sort of accidental death, right? I don't know how they'll determine that. If they can determine that there was, like Joseph Scott Morgan was describing, if there's damage to her neck bones, like choking, different things like that, that's going to show where she was strangled, right? Neck broken, things of that nature. There's just a lot more left to determine, I guess, from those tests and see where he's got an attorney. So again, was that the smart move, or is it I need to get this because I'm getting scared kind of thing? She can't travel without proper documentation. Where was she? What do you mean? What about a private plane? Oh, I don't think she was flying all over he just started this tour. This guy wasn't like constantly touring and super well known throughout the world. He was only known by people who are into R&B, right? So I don't know if she's flying all over the place with this guy. I have no clue about all that. And if that's what the streets are saying, I couldn't tell you because I haven't watched any of what. I don't know. The private plane documentation, who knows if she ever got. If it's a private plane, can they just sneak her on board anyway? It's a private plane. I mean, I don't know. Was she staying stashed at home while he was going to go on tour? Was there a big fight before the tour started? I want to go with you. I don't need you to go with me. You're going in the frunk instead. A lot of these guys don't want their woman to go on tour with them because then the woman will see what they're doing when they're on the road. I'm a product of the 80s. I know what happens on the road. A little too well. So Steve Fisher went down there and trotted around the neighborhood for Ashley. Well, for whoever would take it. Let's put it that way. Let's see it. And you hired Weinstein's attorney. My goodness. Okay, so this is where Steve Fisher goes down there and does the walk around David's home and gives us a little more insight to the area, the landscape type of thing. You know how we love that around here. We know Idaho 4 Moscow streets better than we probably know our own at this point. All right, so this is going to start this piece that Steve did with News Nation. And guys, you can find SF Investigates over on the Twitters, the X, whatever you prefer to call it. Oh, Lordy.
In this hour in David's neighborhood, his former neighborhood, I should say, because you'll remember he moved out of that party mansion a few weeks ago. And for the first time, we are getting a look, a clear look at the lay of the land, specifically.
Yeah, Firefly, because the coroner report hasn't mentioned anything about, they deferred, so we don't know nothing. We literally know nothing except that death certificate that we have a copy of says deferred. So I don't know if what the coroner determined or not, if they could even tell anything from the bones, how degraded and where's the evidence in the trunk, right? There's a lot that we don't know. You'd think if there was evidence of that, we would know it by now. But then again, cops do what they want and tell us what they want. When
Just
they
how
want.
far away David's abandoned Tesla was from the front door of that mansion. The Tesla with the underage girlfriend decomposing in the trunk. We enlisted the help of a private investigator named Steve Fisher, who took us on that very short walk between the house and the car.
So we're at the house where David and Celeste were staying. That was rented to his manager. This is it, 3-car garage. Although from rumor is that the garage is actually converted into a gym, and that might be why we see the Tesla parked outside a lot. It does have security cameras, and I think that there's a lot more cameras than just the two you see here. And also the houses around us.
We'd known those cameras were there for a long time now. What we don't know is, was there anything recoverable on the system? And if not, why not? Did someone tamper with the system? Try to, dump the videos, record over them, destroy it, whatever. We need to know that too.
And we're looking at a camera right here on my left. So there's probably a lot that was captured. It's a wealthy area. These people value their privacy, and it's a beautiful home. It's also, there's been these rumors about it being a real party house and everything, but the people I've talked to around here said it was very they were very courteous, and it was quiet, and it was not this party house that it was rumored to be.
Yeah, those rumors, I heard that very early on TikTok, but I saw no proof. Well, here we go again, Idaho 4 party house, but I saw proof in that case. Here I haven't seen anything, but I did see the interviews with the neighbors who came out and said it was pretty quiet over there. It wasn't like Party Pad Central going down. It was just pretty quiet.
So, I'm sure that we'll learn more about that. But as you can see, all the way up and down this street are homes with lots of security cameras. So anything coming and going from this house was captured not only by the house's own security system, but
because honestly, if these cameras were all working and they videotaped movement around that home, her coming and going, the car out front, you'd think the cops would have something to go on to make an arrest now. Are they holding back, trying to decide what charges to place upon him? What if they physically see him putting her in the front? but they still don't know how she died. What do we charge him with? Tampering with the body and evidence at this point? I'd charge him with it and then wait on talks and charge him and then up the charges if I needed to. That happens all the time. They'll arrest them and get them on this or that, and then we up the charges later as more evidence comes in.
But by the neighbors. And I'm sure LAPD has either subpoenaed or voluntarily collected all that footage already. And the question becomes, had too much time passed to where they still have it and it didn't overwrite. But as you can see, like this house here has a 360 camera right on that pillar. So that would capture anybody coming and going from this area. And this is where the Tesla.
I wonder if how many of these neighbors, if the cops are doing their job, and at this point we're going to have to say they're doing their job, have they spoke with all these neighbors and collected this video? Where was local media when the cops were canvassing the neighborhood, knocking on doors? Show us that footage, right? Where's that at? So it'd be super interesting to see, because you can't go tampering with the neighbor's camera. They're going to see you trying to tamper with the camera. What do those cameras pick up?
Was partly, we even see it on Google.
And we still haven't, well, the cops may know, but we don't know the last time this child was saw alive. We're hearing that she could have been in the car, for weeks before discovery? So who can pinpoint the last time this child was actually seen by anybody alive?
Street view parked right here, so likely that would capture it. And also these are high-end security systems. They capture sound as well, a lot of them, not just video. So there could also be audio that could capture what was going on in the house or right outside the house. The Tesla was normally parked right here. The exit from the house is these gates right there where the trash cans are. And then if we just walk up here a little bit and to the left is where it was left for what I've heard is more than a month with her body in it, which is tragic to think about. But it was parked very close by.
When did his tour start? I don't have my David notes right in front of me. I'm trying to remember, when did his actual tour start? And if she just disappeared, did he tell the friends, oh, she went back home again? Did anybody question where she went? You know what I mean?
Again, these are all very high-end homes and with a lot of security. There's more cameras right there. So I think that they'll be able to piece together the movement of the vehicle, and along with.
That's a good point, Woozy. A lot of these properties in this area are purchased, and a lot of times they're out of overseas owners. They love to buy this Hollywood real estate. That's like their jams. The bigger the better, the more we have the better. And if they're renting them, there's a lot of rentals in this area. Is probably a management group that runs the properties. It's not like that wealthy man sitting over in China who owns this property. You can call up, hey, the toilet ain't working. No. There's a management group involved. So you should be able to contact those people in the States, because somebody locally would be managing those properties. And I don't know how they would go about it. They need a search warrant and things of that nature. So maybe it's taken a little bit of time to move through some of it. We'll have to see how they conducted it and what they were able to get from all that.
The vehicle's own systems, whether even if he didn't have Sentry mode enabled, the car will still capture.
I guess I'm having internet issues today, guys. Sorry. I don't know what's happening. Let me make sure I'm good.
That GPS data of when it was started and stopped, and where it moved in the last time it was turned off, and it'll also show how many passengers were in it.
Danger, you know, right? And Danger, are you close to this area? You should have went all boots on the ground like old Steve here. Damn it, man.
Because the seats measure the weight for airbag reasons. So I think there'll be a lot of data garnered. So then where the car will be right down here. And here we have a house that's got all kinds of security.
Yes. So I'm watching you guys' comments. We're not hearing about any sort of medical condition she may have had that caused her to pass in her sleep or anything, right? I think in the back of our minds, we're all like, somebody did something to that child and then put her in that car, which is absolutely probably the case. But we have to consider that it could have happened another way as well. It still doesn't take culpability off the table, because I'm sorry, if you got a person in your home and they OD'd all of a sudden, you need to be calling 911. Worry about the consequences later. That how many times we hear about young people, well, we're going to hear about one in just a minute, who didn't do the right thing in the moment. And we're going to hear all kinds of reasons why. I don't need to get ahead of myself. I don't need to get ahead of myself. But I don't know. This case it feels like it's been happening long enough that we feel like there should have been more done, right? But I don't know if they're just waiting on talks to decide what charge to stick with this guy, because you want to make the charges stick. The last thing you want to do is bring on charges and then you get to trial and you've got a high-powered defense attorney, I don't know, say like Alan Jackson, come walking in the door and blow it all to pieces. That could happen. I'll be a fool to sit here and say that could never happen. I watched it with my own eyes twice in Karen Reed's case with a very high-profile attorney. Nobody seemed to be bothered by him at all. We're good to go. We got Alan Jackson on the case. The same man who now is representing a young man who ran over a bunch of women and killed them. But that's what defense attorneys do. So we'll have to wait. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to find enough to be able to charge him with more than tampering with a body, right? And messing with what kind of evidence? Was anything discovered when they did the search of the home? And they, news reports are saying they went in and they luminoled the place looking for blood evidence. Well, in general, they should, but what prompted that specifically? I'm wondering, was there a pool of blood stain on the carpet in the trunk or frunk? So if there's a blood pool in the frunk, that means it came from her. It could be tested to match her. And then do we have blood in the home? That means she was shot, stabbed, beaten, other than just strangled or overdosed. Dude. And you didn't send me any pictures? Like, you are the research king. You're over here holding out, Danger. You're holding out. You walked by there twice 48 hours ago. Bet you walked those dogs right past there. Oh, goodness, not the parking police, Woozy. Damn parking police. All right, guys, let me take care of something really quickly. Just in case. Wrong thing. Am I on the right page? Yes, I think this is what I need to do. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at the next case. So we'll keep an eye on things, guys, and if anything develops over the weekend, we'll bring it out on Monday when we come back with the big show and talk about it. You didn't dig deep enough, quickly enough. Hey, it's never too late. It's never too late to start the digging. That reminded me of somebody's, what's her Twitter name? Mm. Oh, goodness. All right. I also got to get this document brought up. All right. So, how many of you guys been following? We touched on the case here, the Lakin Snelling case. Oh, my goodness. What are these overprivileged children doing today? And what children who grow up to be young adults who feel they have zero consequences? Why is that happening? Why do these young people feel they have no consequences and I can just do whatever I want? I'm pretty. I'll be believed, right? I can be a big old bully in school and I'll be coddled for it because I'm cute and on the cheer team. Is that what we got here? That's what I've heard. Dumb question. Being that it is his car, regardless of who else he let drive it, does that whole possession 9/10 apply? I don't know in California, right, Sunflower? That's a good question because it's different state to state. The fact that he possessed the car in his name and then the property he lived in was rented by his management, can he be held accountable for what happened with his car? And here's another thing. If you tell me you loaned your car out, you better be telling me who the hell you loaned it out to and when. Just like, oh, that's not my knife in there. My DNA got there because I went to a knife show and handled a knife. Okay, sir, now when did you go to the knife show? I need the date and the time you were there because it's going to be super important later when we go in there and say that's your transfer DNA. I need to explain how it got there because I can't go in with this planted idea. No one's going to buy that in the end. There you go. I need to know how it got there, regardless of how the said transfer occurred. I don't know, kind of like Rex Sherman's wife's and daughter's hair showing up on his victims wrapped in burlap sacks thrown out into the marsh. Transfer DNA. So I will show Lakin's probable cause on the screen. But I'll be reading it to you as well because it may be a little hard to see from where am I at here? Let me pull it up. So in case for you guys that don't know, she was the Kentucky cheerleader, college cheerleader, who was apparently pregnant, gave birth to the baby in her bedroom, places the baby into a plastic bag at some point. We're going to read the details, and places the baby in the closet. That's after she falls asleep on the baby and then gets up, showers, cleans everything up, and goes to McDonald's because she's feeling a little famished. And her roommates decide, what was that noise we heard? Let's go check out Lakin's room. Why would you go in her room? If she's gone, you heard a weird noise, a thump in the night. Oh, those damn thumps in the night. They heard a thump in the night. Didn't know what it was, but didn't go check. But the next day, while she's gone, you go check. That's weird to me. I don't know, because maybe because she looked pregnant the whole time and nobody asked her why. Now, women, we know. Are you pregnant? No, honey, I just gained a bunch of weight. What the hell? It happens. But there's sometimes you can absolutely tell. Some women gain weight all over. Some only gain weight in the belly, like I did. There was no hiding in pregnancies. I agree, Pokemon. I agree. So she had a preliminary hearing. Court TV, I think it was like a 5-minute long hearing. Court TV did cover the hearing, but there's not a lot there to even look at. But she waived her right to the prelim. And instead, they're going to present it to a grand jury. Like the grand jury's not going to decide you need to have some charges brought against you, young lady. The grand jury's going to feel different. You're hoping mommy's and daddy's friends are on it, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there's a difference between being confused. I've seen grown women tell stories about how they didn't know they were pregnant. And as a woman who's given birth 4 different times, I don't understand how a grown woman, let alone a young girl, can say, I never knew I was pregnant. You never had a morning sickness episode. You never got a weird craving out of the blue. You never woke up feeling ew. You never felt that baby kick you one time during the whole entire 9 months. Liar, liar, pants on fire. I didn't know I was pregnant. Did your period ever stop? Some women say that it doesn't. But you gonna tell me that baby never kicked you one time and you didn't wonder what that was? Mm-mm-mm. I can't wrap my head around that at all. I will never, ever, ever understand it. And I've tried to figure out how these women not know they're pregnant. Not even a young girl. How do you Mama, there's something wrong with me. I feel weird. Those roommates were on top of it. Did they suspect something woozy? That's what I'm wondering. What did they suspect, right? Okay. So I don't know how long it'll take the grand jury to make a decision on what they read, but we'll see. These coppers just like to take their time sometimes, and they were like, y'all are not moving fast enough for us. Exactly, Fireflies. Damn near impossible. It is impossible. Unless you got a little baby who is not thriving, right? Women, you know. Men, I can't say you know because you damn well don't know. You only know what we tell you. Well, Tricia, I wondered that. But they claim she apparently hid the pregnancy the whole time. So was she hiding it, or I'll only hide it in case it's not what I wanted? Okay, so let's read this document. Acting on the information received, affiant conducted the following independent investigation. Ms. Snelling was transported to the headquarters and later UK hospital for treatment. At the hospital, I advised Ms. Snelling of her Miranda warning, and she stated that she understood and that she wanted to speak with me. Mrs. Snelling stated that around 4 a.m., Lord, is the 4 a.m. the new witching hour? 4 a.m. is now the new witching hour. It's no longer 3. Huh. No wonder. Okay, never mind. I'm going to get off on a little witchy tangent there. I'm about to go down a whole ass rabbit hole. Okay, back to my senses. 4 a.m., she gave birth to a baby which fell into the floor of her bedroom. Miss Snelling stated that she didn't think. So when labor started and the water broke, did she ever once consider, while I'm out there tumbling and flipping, my water might break and go all over people? I guess she forgot to Google that part. What happens when my water breaks? What do I do? Snelling stated that she didn't think the baby was breathing or was alive. Snelling advised that she was awake for around 30 minutes after giving birth before falling on top of the baby. Baby's on the floor. She's standing there looking and she passes out on top of the baby. I'm visualizing in my head as I'm unpacking. Snelling said that when she woke up from passing out, she quickly got up and observed the baby turning blue and purple. Lakin said that she believed the baby to be dead and wrapped the baby up like a burrito and laid next to it on the floor because it gave her a little comfort in the moment. Snelling said she was awoken by her alarm at 7:30 for class at 9:30. Snelling said that she noticed that she was still bloody and needed to get a shower. She's having to notice that shit. Snelling said she went to the kitchen to get a black trash bag. Snelling said she placed the baby, which was still wrapped up inside the towel, inside the black trash bag and placed the black trash bag in the closet. So she's never denying any of this happened. Now, please take it easy on me because I just didn't know and I panicked. Snelling said she went and took a shower to clean up. Snelling said after taking the shower, she came back into her room and started to clean up the rest of the blood. Snelling said she used paper towels and the towel she had wrapped the baby in to clean up the rest of the blood. Snelling said she placed the baby. Now, I would like to see those photos because I'm going to see that cleanup and what that looks like and show people on the internet what a cleanup looks like. So she's using paper towels and everything to clean the baby, to clean the floor, and the towel she wrapped the baby in, okay, and to clean up the rest of the blood. Snelling said she placed the placenta inside of a Ziploc bag and placed it inside the black trash bag. Snelling said she wrapped the baby up with the towel and she had cleaned the rest of the blood up with. Snelling stated she then placed the black trash bag into the closet and shut the door. Snelling stated that she left her residence after this and went to school. Lakin stated that she did not go into class but sat in her vehicle in the parking lot. Snelling stated that she wasn't feeling well, so she ordered McDonald's through the app. Snelling said that after getting McDonald's, she went to the University of Kentucky Student Clinic where she did not go inside. After this, Snelling stated she returned home where she was detained and transported to headquarters for questioning. So by the time she gets back home, the roommates have already discovered the baby in the closet. It should be noted that when speaking to medical staff at the University of Kentucky Labor and Delivery, she stated that the baby had a little bit of fetal movement, but passed out shortly after. Snelling stated, so why didn't she call 911? If you legit did not know you were pregnant and you began to have labor, pick up the darn phone and call 911. Something freaky is happening to my body and I'm not sure what's going on. Please get here. But no, she chose to do other things instead. She stated during her questioning by myself and Detective Martinez that the only time she passed out was around 30 minutes after giving birth, which leads me to believe that the baby could have been moving. Snelling told medical staff that the baby made a whimper and that she guessed the baby was alive. And maybe it would still be alive if you hadn't done what you done, Miss Thing. A search warrant of Snelling's phone resulted in locating several searches, including, and remember, this girl ain't much older than Dylan Mortenson. We're going to hold one accountable for their not knowing what to do in the moment. We're going to hold the other one accountable for the same damn thing. Salty Concuss Fund coming soon. It should be noted that when speaking to medical staff at she stated that the baby, all right, I read that part. So she was awake for about 30 minutes before she passed out and she guessed the baby was alive. A search warrant of Snelling's phone resulted in holding several searches, including different things pertaining to pregnancy. So the girl knew she was pregnant or knew she was in labor. Snelling, her phone resulted in locating several searches, including different things pertaining to pregnancy. Images of her during labor. She took images of herself during the labor. Photos of her doing things ordinary pregnant women would not be doing. Like what? Other than the flip factory going on in the background, the cheer things. And a concealed or hidden pregnancy. So she was searching for concealed and hidden pregnancies, taking photos of herself during labor and photos of herself not doing things that ordinarily would be done during a pregnancy. It is the affiant's belief that this iCloud account could contain current or deleted information that relates to Snelling's pregnancy, to the birth of full-term baby, to the birth of the full-term baby and ultimately its potential demise. It should be noted that this account appears to be a shared account. Oh boy, here we go. A shared account and is being accessed by both Michelle Snelling, the suspect's mother, and Laken Snelling, the suspect. All right, let me get the next page up for you guys. The last one here. Acting on the information received, Affiant conducted the following independent investigation. Numerous detectives conducted interviews with all of Snelling's roommates. Your Affiant spoke to Redacted, who told me that all the roommates living at Redacted are in a Snapchat group text together titled The Trap at Park. In the 4 a.m. hour of August 27th, one of the roommates sent a message in the group chat stating that she heard loud noises that sounded like something had fallen. Damn it, man. Why aren't we checking these 4 a.m. thuds when they happen and acting upon them then? I'm not staying in bed at 4 a.m. when I hear a thud in the night and waiting hours later to discover something horrible had actually happened. I'm not going to be on a YouTube stream. So they hear the noise and something had fallen. Another roommate stated she heard the noises too, and that whatever caused them was so forceful it knocked pictures off the wall. One roommate stated the noises lasted for approximately an hour. Did they think she was getting it on in there and didn't want to go bother? I'm not blaming them, but I worry about these young women who go off to college and hear shit at 4 a.m. and don't act on it. Again, talk to your young people before they drive to college this fall. You're going to live by yourself, and if you hear any noises, you better call me immediately. So I can talk you through it, because apparently I got to hold your hand. At 4:48 a.m., so for over an hour, they hear these weird noises, so loud and banging that they're knocking pictures off the wall. Goodness gracious. At 4:48 a.m., Snelling sent a text to the group chat stating that those noises were caused by her passing out. She told the group that she had not been feeling well and not eaten and had fainted as a result. Snelling, did that raise the roommates' suspicions? They're like, oh no, girl, we're not buying that. Snelling then informed the group chat that she was going to be seen by a doctor. Curious as to Snelling's story. Why? Why were y'all curious about her story? The roommates entered Snelling's room in an attempt to locate a source of the loud noise. What about Laken made them so suspicious of Laken? Curious as to what the loud noise was. In the room, they found a blood-soaked towel on the floor and a plastic bag containing evidence of childbirth. They looked in Snelling's closet. So that was on the floor. She didn't clean it all up and put it in the closet. They looked in Snelling's closet and located the deceased newborn placed in the bags. The newborn appeared to be a full-term baby. Redacted told me that all of the occupants of the residence had suspicions that Snelling was pregnant, but never confirmed with her. Snelling, they had suspicions that she was pregnant, but never confirmed it with her. Now, they didn't hear the baby crying. According to Snelling, there was a whimper. This baby never cried out like that. They heard the loud thump when it hit the floor and some pictures falling or whatever, but nobody reported hearing crying. And if the baby was in distress, it may not have been able to cry out loud. Sometimes you have to clear the baby's airways to get them to cry. So she just heard a whimper. Redacted told me that the occupants of the residence had suspicions that she was pregnant, but they never confirmed it with her. Given that Snelling used Snapchat to communicate amongst the roommates, it is your affiant's belief that a search of Snelling's Snapchat account will preserve the message sent to the group chat, along with any messages and communications sent to others dealing with the knowledge of the pregnancy from conception until delivery. What others? Communications she sent to others detailing knowledge of her pregnancy from conception until the delivery. That's interesting. Did her mother know they had that shared account? Did she ever see what her daughter was looking at? That's a lot. She absolutely knew she was pregnant. And then she went to great measures to conceal it, apparently, and she went to great measures to hide it when it happened. You're going to have a hard time getting a jury to buy "I didn't know I was pregnant" theory. You actually could have made that work if you called 911 during the delivery. You might have could have got somebody to buy your little cute little story. Yeah, well, you know what? It's a big old secret. People will argue from now to eternity on what Snapchat retains. We're all experts. Well, we're not. I'm not. But YouTube's apparently full of Snapchat experts. We done went through that with the Idaho 4 case. Snapchat everywhere. I ain't snapping nothing. That's a weird app. People who I don't know try to reach out. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know, guys. That's a lot with that case. I don't think any of us can get behind she didn't know, especially reading that document and then confirming that the people did suspect she was pregnant. Because if you look at the photos that are out there of her, you can tell that girl was pregnant. We had a couple. Let me see if I don't know if I don't have them uploaded right now. I thought that I did, but have you guys seen those pictures that I'm talking about? Let me see if I can get one to upload really quick. I don't know if my restream will let me do it this way. I'm gonna try. And there were two, because there's two of her in the cheerleading clothes, right? And you can absolutely tell. Let me see if this will mess me up by going in here like this. Look, these young girls can stop it with I had a baby at 21 years old. They can stop. Okay. Uh, hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Let me see. Yeah, it just didn't show it the way. There we go. Here's one of them. You can look at her stomach and see how tight knit the clothing is. And to me, she appears pregnant. And I've seen pictures of her from before where she was a lot thinner. She was absolutely gaining weight. Were people just afraid to approach her? And then there's this one. Again, to me, she looks very pregnant in that picture. Right? That's what I'm saying, Pokemon. There was no hiding mine. I'm a petite woman, and I was all belly. So one of them I kind of went all over, but that one, three of them were just there was no denying it. All right, guys, I have to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. Women can go several weeks or up to a month or so and two and not really know she's pregnant. By 2 months, you're going to know something's amiss. Something's quite not right. Everybody's pregnancy is different. Everybody feels it differently. You show it different times. You gain weight and way different. There's no cookie cutter pregnancy out there, right? All can be similar, but a lot of us know it's so hard to hide a pregnancy. So I don't buy it when women say they just didn't know. I feel like that's a big lie. Okay, you may appear you're just gaining weight, but you're not going to sit here and tell me you never felt that baby kick you one time. That's the thing. It's kind of like when people were leaving the babies in the back seat and they're forgetting about them when they got to the office, but they made sure they grabbed their purse and their briefcase, the laptop, and all the important things, and the baby's in the back seat. Some crazy attorneys and psychologists come out and said these parents suffer from absent-mindedism, that they didn't forget the laptop because America puts so much emphasis on your work and what you do for a living, and while other people raise the babies, the one you forgot in the back seat. I don't need a reminder to tell me I got a baby in the back seat. What's up with these little fancy reminders? Put your laptop next to the baby. Get out of here with that bullshit. Can we stop coddling adults who are supposed to know better? Ain't no excuse for stuff like that. I was in a hurry. I was late for my meeting. Totally forgot my kid. Please understand. Ugh. You guys are cracking me up with your comments. I know. Image of that's it. They are very image obsessed. And there are reports coming in from people who were friends with Lakin, high school people who knew her in school before college. And one of the girls that spoke said that Lakin was a huge bully in school, that she got away with whatever she wanted, basically. There's a report that she tried to run over another girl in her Jeep, to the point that girl had to leave school and go somewhere else for school. So, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know that this girl like that can't corroborate the stories, but they're out there. So we're getting this not so nice image of this young girl already. And for her to go out there now, and it's just crazy. I can't with these. What's her mama saying to her right now? I've always got something to say to my kid. Like, I got a call this morning. That's why I was late. Like, boy, are you kidding me right now? I'll deal with you later, young man. It's going, I'm going to have to get on to you and also be your friend at the same time. We're going to have two separate talks now. The joys of raising children, right? I don't know. I can't let mine get away with crazy stuff. You're going to have to be accountable at some point. I'm going to help you through it, but you're going to be accountable. Sunflower. We was talking about that yesterday, how we all get a little judgy. We can't help it. We try not to be judgy, but sometimes we are just that. Sometimes we get preliminary evidence and we're like, whoa, we're side-eyeing you now. Right? Butterfly, even her coaches, right? So it's one thing for your friends not to approach with the, are you gaining weight? But the coach could have said, ma'am, I'm a little concerned. Are you okay? Do you just coddle these young girls with their weight to the point you don't even bother to ask them a question? Because she might run off and cry and develop an eating disorder now because you called her a little overweight. Again, that goes back to the mothers. How many young women grow up watching their mother parade around the house and the grocery store half naked, full on makeup, hair extensions and all? only concerned about how she looks. Of course, we all want to look nice, neat, and clean and presentable when we walk out of the home, but I want my children to respect me and to learn to respect others. If mama's out there walking around like a half-dressed whore and putting all the emphasis on my weight and my looks, what you think that little girl's going to do? What do you think that little girl's going to do? And when mama runs out and gets all this work done to her face and that child looks just like mama and mama's saying, but honey, you're beautiful. And that child's looking back at a face she don't recognize. Oh my goodness. I can't sit here and say social media is to blame for the way these young girls are today. It's all the Instagram's fault. Shit, have you seen her mama's Instagram account? I'm not saying I've seen her mama's. I'm just saying, y'all know what I'm saying? The world's full of children who are raised to be very superficial, extremely superficial. All right, let's pull up our next segment. We're going to move on from Miss Lakin, and we'll keep an eye on what develops there. I don't know when the grand jury will make a decision there. Are they going to let the grand jury decide what kind of charges to place against her? What kind of charges could you place other than murder of a baby? Concealment? That's crazy. Actually, I'm going to need to look into that. What kind of charges could be brought against her for that? What about the other kids, other young women who've done the same thing? What was that? You just saw a case of a 14-year-old that died in Mexico from plastic surgery complications her stepfather was performing. Yeah, we got a case here popping off. Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben's a high-profile case right now. He's been on long crime. Molly's covering it extensively here on the Gulf Coast. Dr. Ben decides it's a good idea to perform procedures on my wife until the day she died in my office. Yeah. Come on, baby, I'll fix you up. Come to the office. Let you be my guinea pigs. I want you to look perfect in every way. I wonder how, I always wanted to ask men, how do y'all feel at the end of the night when you pick up a hot woman at the bar and you get back to the house, you're back at the crib? Not only does her clothes fall off, but half of her falls off with it. Jesus. What do you do then? Damn, baby, you look real different. Real different. Okay, let me move this out of the way, and we're going to pull up Dylan Mortenson's interview. Oh, boy. Dolphin, are you still in chat? I sent you a link, ma'am, if you're interested. Okay. So as I was saying, like Dolphin and I were talking about, there had to be more to that interview we saw the other day, right? It was just, you could tell it was in the middle of a conversation. So this is the extended, the whole interview here. A little more than midway down, they'll go into that segment that we did see already. Let me pull up my chat here on the phone, because Lord knows it ain't, 'cause it's not gonna let me keep up with it on the screen here. Oh, and let me do something. Huh. Sorry, guys. I just saw a notification that I had that I didn't know I had. No, that's not what I wanted. Goodness. Oh. Okay. All right, let me get this pulled up. Now, Plunder released this one. We know that she's still waiting on more interviews. She's still waiting on another Bethany interview, I believe, that she said was the conversation. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, I know she's still waiting on something from Bethany, and she's also requested some more stuff as well. Also, there's a couple of other channels putting out all the body cam videos from the police, but this one is the full version of, I'm gonna say it's one. Well, there's 5 total interviews, I think, of Dylan. I think Plunder said there was 5 that they are aware of, and this is one. And this was taken the same on the 13th, a couple hours after the murders were reported, and they're down. They go from the, remember how they're all gathered up outside the home? Anyway, they all end up back at the police station. And now when they were at the police station, they were all like in the lobby. And remember, Ann Taylor made a filing where she wanted the video from the lobby of the jail, the police department, because she wanted to see, did they separate all these witnesses before they went in and she's already nervous. They're all ganged up outside sharing stories. Not separated. Jack went off by himself because he just got tired of Dylan, I think. I'll die on that hill. I'm right there with you, buddy. Walk away. Just step away. He did. Then they got there, and Ann's like, well, wait a minute. Were they all sitting in the lobby together? Who knows? But this is one of Dylan's interviews, and she seems to have collected herself a little better from what we saw when she was outside the home of King Road when they were first calling the cops. All right, let me get up here and get the screen shared. Welcome in, everybody in chat. Thanks for coming in. If y'all don't mind, please hit the like button on your way in. It sure helps out the channel. Oh, goodness. Court TV never stops with some stuff. Like, don't send me down rabbit holes, Court TV. So I'm aware that Brian Enton got another interview with another woman out of Letcher County. Her name is Gemma, but Appalachian Dreamers had her on live the other day, a couple days ago, and I watched that. I watched Brian's interview with Gemma as well. I do have a show in the works to revisit Letcher County. We're going to keep caught up with all the happenings. I have spoken to Taya. I'm going to try to get up with Taya. I'm going to get up with Taya this weekend and have a little conversation about the show that we're going to present coming up. So we're going to get back into Letcher County's lots popping off over there, but we'll get back to that on Monday. I think we're going to take a little deeper dive into Letcher County. So let's get back to Dylan. This is 11/13/2022 at the police station. And I think this is just over 20 minutes long. And I will be stopping and commenting because there's things that she says that I'm like, what in the world are we talking about here?
All right, my name is Lawrence. Have everybody you actually spoke to the common way? Your parents didn't go crazy on you? What's your middle initial? And what's your last name? What's your date of birth?
2003.
And what is a good phone number for you? Okay. You've got your phone with you, no worries?
Yeah.
Do you have any pictures, any video, or anything like that? Any social media posts?
No.
Okay. And what's a good address for you?
Like,
Just make somewhere. Where are you living right now? Are you here at the university?
Yeah.
What house is that?
what do you mean?
Is that an apartment or a sorority?
It's a house.
Okay. I don't know the sorority, so I
Oh,
apologize.
yeah.
I don't even know if there's any, what's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what you know.
Okay, so there was a Simic High party, obviously, yes, we were drinking. I left to go to my friend's house.
When was that party?
I think I went there around like 10:30ish.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, Dolphin, I just realized you were in the car, right? You can. You're more than welcome to, because you know this inside and out like I do. So she's saying she went to the Sigma Chi party, and she was there. She got there about 10:30. Hold on, let me get my page out here too. Okay. So she says she got there around 10:30 at the Sigma Chi, but she doesn't stay there long, apparently.
Last night or this morning?
Last night. And then I went to and then me and my friend and then Beth and then we just all went to bed. It was the house we went to for a little bit, and then it was just me, like, who came home, and then later.
Okay.
She's a girl.
Okay. And are they all in the same place?
She has.
Okay.
Roommates.
Got it. Okay. So you guys were there, you came home early,
Yeah.
and then eventually she went to her place. Where does she live?
She lives like down the street. I don't know exactly where it is. And then Maddie and Kaylee came home from the club. And then we all went to bed.
What time do you think you got home?
I think I got home around 12:30 to 1.
She got home between 12:30 to 1. And the cops are going to come out and say in press conferences, anybody who knows the whereabouts of Ethan and Xana, please contact the Moscow Police Department. Xana's dad reported Xana was at home by 12:30. Bethany over here reporting 2 a.m. Dylan's home by 12:30 by 1. Were they already in the bedroom? When did these two stumble in the front door that nobody saw them come home? We know what time everybody else got home. I don't even have phone records telling me what time Xana come in that front door. I know when she ordered her DoorDash.
Okay.
In between there.
And then what time do you think you came home?
Like 10-20 minutes after I did.
Okay. And then Maddie and who else came from the
Kaylee, I think they came home like 1:32ish.
Okay. And at that point, nothing.
Nothing weird at all.
Okay.
Then everyone's asleep at 4 a.m. I like look at my phone and I can.
All right, 4 a.m. She looks at her phone because the PCA is this. Dylan heard this, saw this. We got written police reports. Dylan's hearing this. Dylan's seeing that. How do we know what time she heard things? Because remember, she's disoriented. She's tired. Drinking, lucid dreaming, and all the things. But now we hear her say, I looked at my phone. Well, yeah, Firefly, at one point we hear that part too, but during this interview, this is what we're hearing. But yes, so originally when they're all home by 1:30, whatever, at some point they were all upstairs, allegedly in the bedroom. Then everybody comes back down, including Kaylee and the dog, I guess, trying to make sense out of what Dylan sees and hears and put together the timeline on it. That's where I'm at with Dylan, because something's still not adding up. What's not adding up is you just completely failing to realize you're wishy-washy. 1 minute, everything's fine. 1 minute, I'm scared. 1 minute, I'm fine. 1 minute, I'm scared. That's not normal. Even if you are the little boy who cried wolf and now you're scared that none of them is going to believe you, there's still too many weird things that she's doing here. Well, is it here? Okay, if I'm in my room and I hear something outside of my door or whatever, I'm probably going to look at my phone and try to figure out what time it is. And I've trained myself to do that because I'm in true crime. Cops are always going to say, well, what time was it? Well, hell, I don't know. But let me look. Let me take note of that suspicious car I see on the corner that's been there for over an hour with some weirdo sitting in it. Let me take note of the color. There's a weird guy walking down my street I've never seen before. Let me take note of what this fellow looks like. That kind of thing. But not everybody thinks that way. But if I hear a noise, I'm probably going to look at my phone. So I've always wondered how she knew it was 4 a.m. because that's important in my brain. I got to know how she knew that because I can't verify anything she's telling me. But right now we're hearing 4 a.m. I heard something, looked at my phone. It's going to get more interesting. That's the least of the interesting stuff right there.
I hear Kaylee and Murphy like dancing because I can tell it's her voice and that it's Murphy because he's barking. And then
Kaylee and Murphy did apparently like to dance around the bedroom a lot. There's video of Kaylee out there on her Instagram dancing with Murphy and playing around. Dylan swears it's Kaylee's voice she's hearing. Firefly, you think, I don't know if it's practiced and faked. She's just a wishy-washy girl. And is part of it her trying to downplay, I acted a fool and failed to act, and I don't want to look that stupid now. Part of it's that, but I don't know that it's like faked or rehearsed or anything like that, right? I think it's just I don't know. It could be, but in my opinion, she's just a wishy-washy girl who don't know. Because she says she'll think, so like in the beginning, in Sigma Chi, yeah, obviously we were drinking, but like trying to minimize something. I don't know. It's just weird. She's weird.
hear her go upstairs because you can hear like everything, and I heard her say there's someone here, and I thought she ran downstairs.
So she's right there. She says that she hears Kaylee go back up the stairs and then screams someone's here. And then she's going to say Kaylee had fear in her voice. So come again with you weren't scared. It wasn't frightening enough for you to act upon when she just said she's going to say there was fear in Kaylee's voice, and Kaylee runs back the stairs quickly after screaming or yelling out someone's here. And then Dylan says, because in the written report it says she called out Kaylee's name, and I'm thinking, was your door open when you called that name out? Did Koberger hear you yelling out for your roommates? Now she's going to say in this interview she never opened the door, but she called out Kaylee's name from within her closed bedroom door room. Exactly, Firefly. She's recovering from not responding in a timely manner. That's a nice way to put that.
And then I jumped up and locked my door because I didn't know what else to do.
Okay. So Kaylee and Murphy's her.
Murphy, so Kaylee and is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. They share the dog pretty much.
And Murphy's the dog?
Yeah.
Okay. What is Kaylee's last name?
Goncalves.
Oh boy, spell that for me.
Gonclaves.
And is she here today?
No.
Was she one of the ones that was hurt?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, where is Kaylee's room compared to yours?
Like right above my
Straight
she's
above. What, are you on the first, second?
second.
And she's on third?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that Kaylee and share Murphy?
Yeah. This.
And is Jack
Yeah.
current?
Yeah. He's ex right now.
Okay. Any problems between Kaylee?
No.
Okay.
They're really good, like friends still.
You still play with the dog and stuff like that?
Every now and then, yeah.
Okay. So, you hear Kaylee upstairs, she's dancing, playing with the dog, normal kind of thing, probably.
Yeah.
And then she says, there's someone here?
Yeah, when she goes, I can hear her go upstairs, and then I think she's in her room, and she says that someone's here, and I can tell she's scared, and she runs downstairs.
Where do you think she ran?
I don't know if she made it past the stairs.
I can tell she's scared. That bothers me. I don't think you could have saved her life at all. But we got college girls not knowing they're pregnant or hiding it on purpose, having babies and dumping them in closets, into bags. We got thuds in the night at 4 a.m. people aren't checking about until hours later, the next daylight comes. Oh my God. Are we ready to send our kids off to college? Are we really prepared? Or are we just holding back and we're going to let them turn 18 and let them go wreak havoc on society? I can't take away from you, a mother over there in Pennsylvania. You raised a freak.
Okay.
Or if it was in the living room.
Okay. But you heard her on the stairs?
Yeah, I heard her running like super fast down the stairs.
Okay.
And then I didn't open the door. I just called her name, and then I called Xana, Kaylee, and Mogan on my phone.
So she calls out Kaylee's name, and then they call Maddie Mogan apparently, because she does it several times and has to clarify. But so then she calls them on the phone. There starts the call in the roommates. I might have to let it play and go refresh my coffee before I get too sideways.
And then
What were those other names?
Xana, Maddie, Mogan. Sorry, we call Mogan as Maddie, and Kaylee.
Okay. Do you know what Xana's last name is?
Kernodle. Kernoodle, I believe.
Okay. And what about Maddie?
Mogan, Mogen.
And Kaylee was
Goncalves.
That's the same one. Okay.
Yeah.
Were these three friends?
Yeah, we're all roommates.
Okay. Who was sharing the room with Kaylee?
Kaylee and Mogan are both upstairs. They don't share rooms.
They have their own rooms?
Yeah, we all have our own rooms.
Okay. So these two are up on the third.
Yeah.
Where's Xana?
That's my floor.
Your floor.
She's closest to the bathroom on my floor.
The bathroom. Okay. So Jen and Kaylee aren't an issue.
No, they're not at all.
What about for Xana or Maddie? Are there any guys that are an issue? Any girls that are an issue?
No, Maddie has a boyfriend in Boise, super nice.
Okay.
Xana is dating Ethan, who was in the room with her. They're really nice too.
Okay. I apologize. I don't know anybody's name or anything like that. So was Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee all upstairs still? Are those the ones that got hurt?
Those are the ones that got hurt.
Okay.
And then the other girl that's here, she's on the first floor.
Okay. And was she the one in the yellow hoodie?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's over there.
Yeah, Rachel, we've heard that people have said it. If that's the case, we're in trouble as a society. If we believe these girls didn't call 911 because we're scared because they were underage, it's a party house. Well, there wasn't a party the night before, right? I heard that said a long, long time ago, and I thought that don't even make sense. I mean, nothing makes sense with this girl, but I don't think they were afraid to call because it was a party house. We're going to get into trouble. Me getting in trouble will be the least of my worries, but the girls don't think straight about what's going on around them anyway. I think they were we're going to have to say they're just oblivious to what's happening around them. But when you sit here and say there was fear in your friend's voice, then you run past another friend's room and see a body on the floor, and you've made eye contact, according to her, with a masked man. Something ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing.
So anybody that would want to hurt Ethan or that's jealous of Ethan?
No.
Nothing like that?
No, I've never heard anything.
Any cars that were in the area that you can think of that wouldn't have been normal?
No, I wasn't really looking at that.
Okay. And you did see anybody come downstairs? Did you hear anything else?
No, I don't even know how they got in. We're usually pretty good about locking doors, and we've never had problems before. Like, it was just really random.
Okay.
I don't even know how they got in. I'm not saying they as in, oh, there's multiple people. She don't even know how he, they, her, whoever did it, don't know how that person got in. Because we're pretty good about locking the doors, except for last night. Don't think we locked it.
So you're getting home around 12:31.
Yeah.
You've got Maddie that comes home just shortly after.
Yeah.
Maddie comes home shortly after that. And then from that point, from about 2 to 4, did you fall asleep?
Yes, I fell asleep.
Okay.
And Kaylee also came home with Maddie at the same time from the club.
So between that time, obviously, you're not hearing anything. You had something to drink, so obviously you're going to sleep a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you hear her, she says what she says, you hear her hitting the stairs, you open the door, cry out to her,
Yes.
and then you close the door because you're scared.
She says, he says, you open the door and you cry out to her. She says, yes. And then you close the door because you're scared. Yes. Scared of what?
Yes.
Right? What happens at that point?
I opened the door again, and I heard what I thought was Kaylee crying in the bathroom, and I heard this man's voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," but
she's insistent that this Kaylee's voice that she's hearing, because she says she knows Kaylee's voice. Now, the PCA, you know, it does state in there she hears what she thought was Kaylee, but the PCA says, well, and we think it was Xana she heard. I don't know what she heard. I think it could have been Xana she was hearing, but she's pretty determined to know the difference in their voices. But that bathroom that she's talking about is before Xana's room. Between her room and Xana's room is that bathroom, but she can't see the bathroom door because it's on that wall, you know, in the hallway there. So that, is she gauging that because the voices are closer to her than they would be if they were in Xana's doorway? Is she just guessing that? Because she can't see it, but she can hear it. And then she hears the, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." And then she's going to say that but it wasn't in a nice way. Okay. Again, the weird stuff is stacking up here, girlfriend.
it wasn't like in a nice way. Like, it was just weird.
Like in her Vampire Diaries movies. That kind of weird. Isn't that a line from the movie? I don't watch the movies, so that's what I've heard. I don't know what's going on with my internet. It went to sleep. It took a nap. Must be maintenance.
And it was a voice I've never heard before.
Okay.
And then I called out to her, and there was no crying after that.
So after this voice says, "I'm going to help you," it was a voice she had never heard before, and then the crying stops. So she wasn't sure that was Ethan telling his girlfriend after a big fight, "Don't worry, I'm going to help you," as some suspected could have been the case. No? Wasn't his voice, right?
I don't really know what happened after that.
So when you opened the door, you thought you heard Kaylee crying in the bathroom?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it could have been Xana, but I thought it was Kate at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to determine now that was not Kaylee. It was Xana the whole time. Do y'all think that Xana went to the kitchen to put the DoorDash up, as we know, and heard noises, and that's who she heard go up the stairs? And Xana did run into this guy, and he gave chase. Boom, 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 down the stairs. That's what she's hearing. "Don't worry, I'm here to help you," because I'm already starting to attack her at that point.
I don't know if these questions are really helping because I'm just right over the top of them. And you can't, you said they don't recognize the voice.
No. And then I open the door again, and the guy is right there.
She opens the door again, and the guy is right there. What, Koberger, did you know this girl, or did you run out of steam by the time you saw her?
And he's maybe my height, a few inches taller, not like skinny, athletic built. He has all black. He's wearing some masks that covers just his forehead and here, and it goes like around. He was white.
So she's describing the balaclava there, about how she can only, she saw this guy pretty good, and there must have been some pretty decent twinkle light action happening for her to see the bushy eyebrows to start with. The neon light was on, the little cart lights were on, all the twinkle lights everywhere were apparently on. So she can see enough. She sees he's a white male. He's got these bushy eyebrows, the black thing around his face, and apparently it was a balaclava is what she's describing, in my opinion. But she's still not concerned enough to do anything. Hey, Brandy, welcome in, sweetheart. Damn it. This girl is the hardest one I've run across in true crime in years, because it's like, part of the mother in me is like, calm down, foolish girl. The other part of me is, what's wrong with this crazy girl, and her mama didn't teach her the ways of the world before she sent her out to the world. I can't send stupid out to the world.
He saw me and I saw him, and he just left. And he was holding, it looked like it was this and this, it was black, and I didn't think that it was a gun, but now I'm thinking.
Wait a minute, I just about spit my own coffee out. I'm part of the problem, aren't I? That was described in that court document yesterday about releasing this stuff because of what I'm sitting here doing. I also made a short video this morning. Go check it out.
That probably was, but I was just in and out of it because I was so tired.
You say this.
Like it was cylinder like this, and then it went straight out and then in.
Okay, I'm going to play that part again, and y'all watch how she describes what she saw Koberger carrying when she described it as looking like a vacuum. Because we're all like, a vacuum? She doesn't mention the fireman in this interview. That was in the written report. When did she become clear between the fireman and the balaclava description? What made her think fireman? The vacuum that he was holding? Is she describing the knife? Watch the way she does her hands. That's what I was paying attention to as well. Let me move it back. Hope the swamp signal doesn't get us. Hold on, give it a second. It'll catch up to what I'm doing. It can't keep up with my brain. Right? You have to be more intentional. What in the world just happened there? All right, hold on. Let me take it down and pull it back up. Or did I lose steam? Okay, you guys got me? All right. Right, it makes you much more intentional raising your two girls. Yeah. There's a lot of these things that come up in these cases that make us stop and think. And like I've said, I've had numerous conversations with my young son because of this Idaho 4 case. I went and asked him questions from a young person's point of view, right? And I'll never forget the first time I told him there was an 8-hour gap, and he's like, well, did she do it? And I was like, oh, hell, my kid just asked me that. Well, we don't know yet. That was my reply, because we didn't know much more that was in the PCA. All right, let me get that back up there. Okay. Okay, here it goes. Got it back now. Okay.
Like in a nice way, like it was just weird, and it was a voice I've never heard before.
Okay.
And then I called out to her, and there was no crying after that. I don't really know what happened after that.
So when you opened the door, you thought you heard Kaylee crying in the bathroom?
Yeah,
okay.
But it could have been Dana, but I thought it was Kate at the time.
Okay. these questions are really helping because I'm just right over the top of them. And you said you don't recognize the voice.
No. And then I open the door again, and the guy is right there. And he's maybe my height, a few inches taller, not like skinny, athletic built. He has all black. He's wearing some masks that covers just his forehead and here, and it goes like around. He was white. He saw me and I saw him, and he just left. And he was holding, it looked like it was this and this. It was black, and I didn't think that it was a gun, but now I'm thinking that it probably was. But
a gun doesn't look like a vacuum. And Dolphin, I wish you weren't in the traffic. I saw your comment, ma'am. I bet you're just like, I wish I knew what you were trying to tell me. We'll get to it. We'll get you up here. Get out of traffic, ma'am.
I was just in and out of it because I was so tired.
You say this.
Like it was cylinder like this, and then it went straight out and then in. So I don't.
Cylinder like this, then it went straight out. So I'm trying to visualize. We know what the K-bar looks like, but what she's describing is weird. Koberger, did you steal the MVAC from school and take it in there with you to suck up DNA just in case? You didn't do a good job on your sheath.
Maybe.
Almost like a arrow, or?
Yeah, kind of. Okay. It was weird. I couldn't really. I call it like a mini vacuum. I don't really know what it was.
Okay. You say about your height. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10", so he's probably around 6 foot.
So he's going to be average height.
Yeah.
Now, if she's not real lucid and she's tired and she's hungover and all the things that she continues to describe about herself, and she doesn't really know what she's seeing, was he really carrying the knife the whole time? And she just, I don't know what that was, but it looked like this. It could have been a vacuum. Could have been the crevice tool of a vacuum. I don't know, weirdo. I'm trying. It's like I can't.
The girls at all in the house get any kind of freak weirdness going on the last couple of weeks that they talked about?
It's been all normal. Nothing weird at all.
No weird calls, no texts?
No, I mean, nothing really weird happens in Moscow usually.
Right? Okay, so, and I apologize, I keep backing up.
She said nothing weird happens in Moscow usually. How long you was there? You was there for a couple months, baby girl? Like, you're new to town, you're new to the school, you're new to the house, you're very unfamiliar with your surroundings. Known as the town scaredy cat.
Just a little bit, just because everything's going to be jumbled up with you, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
So you hear her dancing,
Mm-hmm.
You hear her say somebody's here. She goes, it sounds like she goes to the stairs. You open the door, call to her, close the door, and then you go to open the door because you hear her crying.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody, might not have been her.
That's just it, Dolphin. So when she, according to her, they make eye contact, basically. I see him, he sees me. This girl's determined, and we read that in the report, that he saw her. And the other report does state when she's popping her head out the door, and then she even said, I didn't know if he saw my head or my whole body. She doesn't describe that here, but it's in the written report where she says that. So did Koberger come around the corner and actually see her and was just hell-bent to get out that back door because stuff just got real sideways and went way further than he had planned? Was his plan the whole time to go in there and take care of one person? Got interrupted, had to do a second person. Now there's a third. Now there's a fourth. I got to get out of here. By the time he saw her, just go. I don't know. It was either I am out of steam, I need to get out of here, screw her, or I got your back, baby girl.
And then, did you close the door and then reopen it before you saw him?
Yeah, I closed it before I reopened it and saw him.
From the time that you heard her say there's somebody here to the time that you saw him, how much time?
Okay, Woozy, great comment, because I wondered that this morning. Was he so frustrated by the time everything happened with the other four victims, and that adrenaline is kicking in and all the things. Did the visual snow kick in as well? Because when you have an autoimmune disease, things trigger a flare-up, right? It could be your diet, it could be your body stress, all kinds of things. So he's over here having stress. Did it trigger an episode and he's so visually snowed out he couldn't make her out? That's what I wondered. Did the visual snow happen? Yeah, you don't know if his diet fixed it or not. Did he have his visual snow finally under control with his autoimmune diets and now on his thyroid meds? Meds alone won't cut it.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think it was like around 10, 20 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I was
Not
really
long.
out of it. Everything was kind of.
Now he's going to ask her about how long between when she hears the voice or hears somebody. Here, let me play it again. To get it exactly what she said. She's going to say 10 to 20 minutes went by. 10 minutes, 20 minutes. That's a whole 10-minute difference, right? And I get it. You may not know 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but from the time she hears one thing till the time she hears another. I don't know if they're just trying to make sense of this girl's story or making sure it doesn't change from one statement to another. Why in the world is it doing this? Okay. Oh, now I can't do anything. Oh, I froze up. Okay. Sorry, guys. Y'all bear with me today. They must be working on my internet again out here in the boonies. Maybe they're trying to make it better and better and better. Maybe I shouldn't throw too much shade at them. I ain't about to put more money in Elon Musk's pocket by getting his little fancy Starlink BS. I don't like making rich richer. And you'll never see me with a blue check by my name. Just lining that dude's pockets for no reason.
Just a little bit, just because everything's going to be jumbled up with you, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
So you hear her dancing,
Mm-hmm.
you hear her say somebody's here. She goes, it sounds like she goes to the stairs. You open the door, call to her, close the door, and then you go to open the door because you hear her crying.
Yeah.
Or at least somebody, might not have been her. And then, did you close the door and then reopen it before you saw him?
Yeah, I closed it before I reopened it and saw him.
From the time that you heard her say there's somebody here to the time that you saw him, how much time do you think?
I don't know. I think it was like around 10, 20 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I was
Not
really
long.
out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was kind of blurry. Like, I don't fully remember it, I would say.
Okay. So, help me figure out where, like I said, I haven't been into the building. Where would if this is a basic layout of it, where would your apartment be?
Okay, so
Or your room, I should say.
I guess, like, say the door's right here.
This is the apartment or that hall?
It's like a house.
Okay.
It's a whole house. Then there's stairs that go up diagonally like this.
Okay.
Living room.
Uh-huh.
You're looking at the living room. To the right is the bathroom and Dana's room. Right in front of you is my room and the stairs.
On the second floor, right?
Yes.
So you've got the stairs that are here on the
Yes.
second floor. You've got the bathroom here?
Bathroom and Dana's room around here.
Okay.
My rooms that are like right in front of it.
Okay.
And there's a kitchen.
So this is the kitchen.
Then there's stairs that go up to the second floor.
Okay. So that's up.
And then Katie's room is on, going up the stairs. Katie's room is on the left.
Up top, right?
Yes, up top. And Maddie's room is on the right. And there's also a bathroom next to Maddie's room.
So your door faces the stairs going down to the bottom?
It faces more, like you can see them when you look up, but it's not totally facing. It's more like facing like this.
Okay, so your door's more over on this side?
Yeah, and then I can see like the window door that slides open back there.
So you opened your door, where was he at?
In between my door and the kitchen.
Okay.
And then
He was in between her door and the kitchen, that little landing right there at the bottom of the stairs. So you came from Xana's room into the landing area, and that's where you saw him. Is that also where the latent footprint was found? And I still want to know which direction that print was headed. Looks like it was headed toward the slider.
Saw him go out the door, I believe.
Out the kitchen door?
Yeah, and I just remember saying like, no, 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 and I shut the door and locked.
Okay, so here she says she saw him go out the door, but literally from her vantage point, from her room, open the door, look into the kitchen, it's an angle wall in there, and where the glass slider is, you literally can't see that. You can see them go into the kitchen toward the slider. And then she's like, I say, no, no, no. What were you saying no, no, no about? If you're not afraid. This may not work if I do this.
So your door faces the stairs going down to the bottom?
It faces more, like you can see them when you look up, but it's not totally facing. It's more like facing like this.
Okay, so your door's more over on the side?
Yeah, and then I can see like the window door that slides open back there.
So you opened your door, where was he at?
In between my door and the kitchen.
Okay.
And I saw him go out the door, I believe.
Out the kitchen door?
Yeah, and I just remember saying like, no, 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 and I shut the door and locked it as fast as
She says that she can see the window and the sliding door, but you can see the window, I know, above the kitchen sink area. Well, it's kind of at an angle too. She claims she could see the door and that she thinks she saw him go out the door, and she's like, no, 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 and locks the door.
I could.
Okay. So is there a deck out back?
It's like just cement, and there's like no fence, so I guess anyone can come in on there.
So is the bottom floor kind of like a daylight basement? So you can come in that floor and then you get out the back up one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So 5'10", all black. Could you see what color his eyebrows were or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
I don't remember what his eyes look like either.
Okay. He didn't say anything to you?
I mean, I saw his eyes and he saw me, but he didn't walk towards me and didn't see anything.
Okay.
I saw his eyes and he saw me, but he didn't walk toward me or say anything. How fast was this guy moving? Was it a casual stroll out the back door, or was he moving with a purpose?
I found it really weird.
But didn't recognize eyes. Definitely a white guy?
Yeah, definitely a white guy.
Okay. Any smells, anything like that that would be weird?
Mm-mm.
After he left.
Any smells or anything like that that would be weird? Because they know the same question we've all had for years now. Was there a weird smell in the house overnight? Was there a weird smell during the time she's hearing all this? You know, we got one girl downstairs hearing firecrackers explode. Was there the smell of something burning in the air? Was there the smell of blood? What?
What happened?
I called me and it was like I heard a sound like a firework and I didn't like put two and two together, and so
when she calls Bethany tells her, I hear a sound like a firework, and then Dylan puts two and two together. What did she put together?
I told her like I called everyone, they're not answering, and I'm in and out of it. I don't think anything of it. I just think
Yeah, it's obviously he was on his way out the door, but here's the thing. If you just killed 4 people and now you are eye to eye with a witness that can place you in the home at a certain time, you're not going to get rid of that witness? Or are you your adrenaline crashed and you just got to get the hell out of there?
I went to sleep and I go to her room, we lock the door and just go to bed.
Okay.
And then this morning it's like 11 or 12 and we're calling everyone and no one's waking up. And
11:30, 12, we're calling everyone and no one's after all night and all the weird stuff and all the weird noises and the weird feelings, and now you're awake and you're calling everybody to verify they're awake and they're okay. Phew, and nothing's happening. I don't think these girls were worried about calling the cops. That's not what stopped them, in my opinion, from calling the cops. Stupidity did. And I can't sugarcoat that. I'm about to hold a young Kentucky woman highly responsible for putting a dead baby in a closet real close to this girl's age. So she put two and two together and she got 5. Yeah, Rachel, yeah, there's a lot of reasons as to why he didn't approach this girl that could have happened, right? Didn't see her, too tired, or did he know her? I don't know. Let's see. Welcome in. Welcome in. Got your camera on there. What do we see in your feet? I don't know if you can hear me. Dolphin, can you hear me, Dolphin? Hold on, guys. Let me fix this. I don't know. Only Koberger holds the answer to that, right? Did you see her? Why would you leave her alive if you saw her? What, was he just tunnel vision getting out of there? Did he actually see her? Dolphin, when you get oh, sorry, I was reading a headline, guys. Okay. When you get set up there, let me know. I took you back down because you got your camera on, and I don't know, you didn't hear me, I don't think. All right. Yeah, he probably got exhausted. If he doesn't know her and there was nothing nefarious going down, right? What would make sense as to why he didn't go after her? Because he was exhausted. The adrenaline crash, just focused on getting out of there. Like, I could think, you could hear me? Okay. I think he could be hyper-focused on getting out of there, and he's just like, you know what? I'm not messing with her. All right, you there, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. I just had to switch back to the screen and unmute. I'm just in the room waiting for them to come get her. This is supposed to be a drop-off appointment.
Uh-oh. Getting dropped off.
But there she is.
Oh, look at her. Hey, Pipsqueak.
And that's that spot from this year.
Yeah, where the deer
There
got
she
her.
is.
Oh, maybe her hair will grow back soon enough.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. Pipsqueak, look up at me.
Pipsqueak.
No. Oh, well.
She's like, I'm not having it. Y'all are weird. All right. So this interview is quite crazy. I don't know if she can hear me again. Okay. Let's see. Let me get this one thing out of my way. All right. Right, Riley. I agree with that too. Once you're in the home with it, right, and you've sat with it 8 hours, it may not be as noticeable as if you walk through the front door for the first time and smell something. Absolutely. I've thought about that as well. It's not, to me, it was never a huge deal as to what, because it was a big deal was made for a really long time about the smell of blood. Why these girls didn't smell it. I don't know that they didn't. I don't think they did over all night long. Shit, they were down there on level 1 with the door shut, hiding. Did they smell anything down there, right? There's a lot more. I have a lot more questions other than why didn't you notice a smell, right? So much more. Nose blind. All right, let me see if I don't know what we've lost Dolphin again. All right, let me finish playing this.
We had like a really bad feeling, so I called Daniel's room and he said you need to call the cops right now.
Okay.
He wouldn't let us see what happened because he didn't want us to see.
Totally.
Yeah.
Your house, co-ed?
Just girls.
Okay.
So Xana is on the same floor as me. First floor. Mogan and Keely are the third floor.
Okay. That's what I'm messing up. Okay. Didn't hear a car start up, nothing like that after the fact?
No.
And then no one, has anybody seen anything on any social media?
I don't know, Firefly. Some people do not have a good smeller, as my pawpaw put it. Some have one that's out of this world. Don't let my sister come anywhere near you, because she's going to notice every single smell known to mankind, can sniff it out, and you're going, what smell? Literally. My son is the same way. What's that smell? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, right? I don't know. I've never been in a room 8 hours after blood was spilled everywhere. I mean, I know what iron in blood smells like, but I don't know. It was cold. Does that make a difference? There's so many variables. Honestly, if they smelled something weird, would that cause them to react? I doubt it. There's a lot of red flags waving all night long that these girls should have picked up on and didn't.
Posts?
No.
Anybody talking about anything?
No.
Okay. Okay. At the same party, anything weird, strange, not normal? Anybody get angry with anybody?
No, it was just normal. Like everyone seemed fine. Xana and Ethan were with me, and it was totally normal.
Okay.
Like there was nothing weird or out of place or suspicious.
Nobody hooked up that might have a boyfriend that wouldn't be pissed off at him or something?
No.
Nothing weird or out of place or suspicious, except for what happened last night.
All right. Anything else you can think of that I should know?
All that I really know was me saying that there was like a loud boom, but I didn't hear it.
Okay.
And I don't really know how I did it because I was on that floor.
Because you were just right below.
Bethany heard a loud boom, but I didn't really hear it because I wasn't on that floor. What boom? You heard a boom and a flash of light? I need to see Bethany's whole entire interview now.
Right.
Below me and Xana and me on the same floor. So like Xana and me the same floor. And
I get you.
Down here. And
So Xana's in between the bathroom and the kitchen?
yes, pretty much. There's like a wall and there's kitchen, Xana's room, bathroom.
Okay. Anybody else on your floor?
No.
And then downstairs on the first?
Yes.
And then up on the third was... Ali doesn't live with you.
Kaylee and...
Yeah, Forrest. So Bethany reported hearing a bang and seeing the firecracker light, or seeing a flash outside of her door under the crack. Still can't figure out what the heck that would be. Was that real? Kind of like the vacuum cleaner the guy was holding. Is the firecracker even real? We haven't got to see Bethany describe that with her own words. Right? Why are we hiding Bethany? Can we stop it now? Let's get that video out here.
Maddie.
Kaylee and Maddie. Those are both on the third.
Yeah.
Similar layout where one bedroom's over the other?
Yeah, so Kaylee's room was here, bathroom in the corner, and then Morgan's room.
Okay. So Morgan would be over Xana's room?
Yes.
Ish,
I would think so.
Okay.
And I guess Kay would be above my room, I'm thinking.
So Xana is on your floor, but she was upstairs with Kaylee and Morgan.
No, she was in her room.
She was in her room?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ethan was in
Her room?
Xana's room as well.
Okay. So I had two of them there, then two of them on third.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay. I will give you this just in case you think of anything else, which is totally normal.
Okay.
To just have things fly in from out of nowhere. You'll see a box of French fries and think of something.
Yeah.
Who knows what will trigger it.
Okay.
Obviously, you guys have some resources on campus, like the CTC, right?
Yeah.
Take totally full advantage of that.
Okay.
All right. This is not a normal thing. This is not something that you can just power through usually on your own.
Yeah.
So definitely take the help. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us, obviously. I don't know who's going to be the actual lead investigator, but obviously if you call and say, my name is so-and-so, I talked to, Detective Maury, and they'll patch you through whoever we need to.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. I thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
Okay.
Okay? If you do get any weird text messages, calls, you think that somebody's behind you, following you, just do whatever you need to do to make yourself safe.
Okay.
Okay? Don't think that you're going crazy. Don't do anything like that. There's no reason to take chances.
Okay.
Okay?
So the fact that she's reporting this man saw her, yet she's alive, shouldn't they be worried about her safety? Well, if you need anything, call us. If you feel unsafe, get somewhere safe. If you need mental health counseling, this is a lot. Don't unpack it alone. Go get some help.
No way to tell who's doing that, so whoever wants to volunteer that, I am going to talk to this.
I was listening to the background conversation. In the Jack's interview, you can hear the other person on the phone call. You can hear what they're saying. That's a guys. They refer to the French fries a lot, Riley. Yeah. You never know what's going to jog your memory. This girl's memory's sketchy, and I can't. Her back and forth with the I'm afraid one minute and not the next is just really weird to me. I get we didn't lock the back doors up last night as we should have. People come and go. But it's hard to justify I didn't realize things were happening in the home when you clearly say things were happening in the home. And it's important to the timeline. We see when the car is circling the prey on the Linda Lane and 112 videos. We see all that. Now we see it's 4 a.m. when you look at your clock or your phone, and that's how she pinpointed the one time. But that wasn't Kaylee running down the stairs saying someone's here with fear in her voice. That was Xana. Or was the running down the stairs she heard Koberger, and he runs into Xana at the landing coming out of the kitchen? Because if Koberger's wearing them big black boots, stomp, 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 I got to run out of here. It got real sideways upstairs real fast. I meant to go in there and do one, got two. I got to get out of here. Oh boy, now there's a third one. But this is all happening right outside that girl's door. It's just that back and forth with the 1 minute I'm scared, 1 minute I'm not. I can't with that. I don't understand it. Trying to justify it in her head and trying to hurt him. If you can't make sense of it, go physically check on people. And if you are too afraid to do that, then that tells you need to call somebody. Nothing that girl could have done would have saved anybody's life in that house. But it's just weird to wait and continue to wait and wait and wait and wait, knowing that she heard fear in voices, heard him say, I'm here to help you, but not in a nice way. Man wearing black I'd ever seen before. It's just too much. It almost gives me a headache. I wonder if these cops got headaches listening to all that. And were they legit looking at her until we have more information? You couldn't have just walked in there and took that as a young girl and we got to coddle her kind of thing. You had to wonder in the back of your mind, if you're a cop, right? Did this girl do something? Does she know something more? Was it her and her boyfriend? Or all kinds of things could come into play when you don't know who did what, and you got a survivor. Because when I heard on the news, when this case first happened, 4 dead kids, college house, it's like, oh man, what happened there? Were they asleep and somebody attacked them? Love triangle gone wrong? What in the world? Big fight. And then you hear there was a surviving roommate. You're like, oh goodness, was this girl attacked? Was she hiding in her room? It's all kinds of questions. You're back in the car now. Dolphin's back in the car. She's dropped the puppy off successfully. Welcome in, Tricia and Riley and everybody who's joining in. Appreciate y'all being here. Y'all can go back and catch the replay for the top of the show and some of the updates we gave out on David. We went through the Lake and Snelling probable cause, and we just finished up Dylan's interview. And now we're going to move into some of this yogurt shop murders case, because it's already 12:30. We've been here a minute. This Idaho stuff has a way of eating us up each and every time. And I could literally sit here all day and throw shade at this little girl, but then I'm probably going to get in trouble with the YouTubes for harassing and whatever else they can come up with, because I said things that, weren't kind. We can't say unkind things too often. Watch us go. All right. Yeah, I mean, could be, Riley. I've had anxiety my entire life. I legit have the diagnosis, right, where I have social anxiety and all the things, panic attacks, you name it, I've had it. I still know right from wrong. I can still discern fear from happiness. I may overtalk if I get anxious. I may leave where I'm at because I'm anxious, even at 19 years old. Everything my mama ever said to me was always lurking in the back of my mind at that age. What would mama do? I gotta call mama right now. I told my mama everything. My mama was that mama. Come at me with the truth. We'll sit down and unpack it. And if I need to get on to you when we're done, I'll take care of that in a minute. But right now, we got to do this. I don't know. Who knows? I've tried to make every excuse in the world for that girl. Legit, because I am a mother. 2 girls, 2 boys. I got an 18-year-old right now. So I haven't forgot what it's like to be that age. But, man, I've tried to give her every excuse in the book, and it's just the more that comes out, the more I can get away from it. Yeah, anxiety's not gonna... My anxiety would have prompted me to call 911, right? Like, there may not be anything happening, but y'all need to come and check it out just in case. Because I'm about to lose my shit in this house. Something bad's going on. My anxiety got the best of me, and everybody better get out of my way. Don't get me all anxietied up. Don't do it. Okay, so the yogurt shop murders, my goodness. Let me get my notes here so we can get this straight. My information here. This case has it all, guys. It was a real whodunit. There was false confessions, false imprisonments, or wrongful convictions, I should say. FBI withholding evidence. Apparently, back in the day, the FBI would not go in the back door to the IGG. They're like, oh, we can't do that. Now they can or will. I got more to unpack with that situation with this FBI stuff in this case. And y'all will know more about what I mean when I show you here soon. Okay. And I'm still got some questions I have to get answered that I have notes on with this case. Something ain't working out. Okay. So back in, it was at Austin, Texas. These two of the girls worked at the yogurt shop. The other two girls one was the younger sister to one of the other girls who worked there, and one was a friend to all of the girls. So two of the girls meet the other two girls at the yogurt shop, and they were all going to travel home together, and two of them were sisters. And unfortunately, somebody entered the yogurt shop at the end of the night. They forced the girls to undress. They killed them. I think one was assaulted, stacked them on top of each other, put paper cups and all kinds of other stuff on top of the bodies, and they set everything on fire. So when the call went out, there was a fire at the location. They come in hot, obviously, to put out the fire, not realizing there are 4 victims inside. When they go to put out the fire, guess what happens? A lot of evidence got destroyed. And that's not really like, oh my God, y'all made crucial mistakes. What do you do when there's a building on fire? You got to put the fire out. Then you got to go in and start your investigation. Now, the Flora 4 fire, after it was put out, turns out they knew all along pretty much what had happened there. You can go in, you can recover information and evidence and things of that nature out of burned out buildings. I've seen it 1,000 times in these cases we cover. But this one was like, 30 years, 1990 or 91 when this occurred. And all the changes that have come along since then as far as evidence recovery and things of that nature. Now, I believe there was some DNA evidence recovered from one of the victims, and there was a shell casing from a drain that I think ended up tying the guy back. The DNA from that, I still got to unpack more about it. Well, I'm going to start off with the press conference so we can get a gist of what's going on here with this case. Yeah, it's a horrendous case, and the fact that it took so long. And when we talk about Richard Allen's case, the first thing people want to come and say is, well, he confessed. We understand that. We're not idiots. But did you read the documents behind the alleged confessions the way I did? No? Okay. False confessions happen.
People of the city, and
you have to consider it. You can't just blow it off as nothing. Yes, from what I understand, Sunflower, right? One of the girls, I believe it was one of the girls they recovered. I may not have that correct. And then the shell casing, yes, tied back to him. Did they have the shell casing all along? And why was the FBI holding out on DNA? And where did the DNA, was that from the girl or was it from the shell casing? The shell casing came back to tie to his gun, but how'd that DNA come into play? Both things tied him back in the end.
Those that care about justice, thank you to those who have brought us to this point. We've not, we've treated today almost like we're in church, but I think it is appropriate for us to ask you to stand and recognize you for the valiant work that you've done on our behalf. Andy, doctor, have the doctor stand up too. And on behalf of the City of Austin, I also want to say thank you to all of the law enforcement agencies and groups that have been helpful in this. The detective called you out and by name, and you humbly and kind of stayed in the background, but we deeply appreciate what you've done because you've created hope. All of you have created hope. And today I am very hopeful. My hopefulness is that we can turn a page as a community and hopefully a final page. the final page on a horror that marked a very different time in Austin's history. I believe we can take heart in our growth and our progress and our strength as the city, and we can go to sleep knowing that while the threat of this kind of evil may never pass in this world, we are far, far better able to prevent it before it happens and solve it when it does. The yogurt shop murders will always be part of Austin's history.
Yeah. Sunflower, thank you. So Sunflower's reporting that they did have the casing. It was not talked about publicly very much. Probably one of the things they hold close to the vest, only they know and only the killer would know, and that type of evidence. And it was found in the drain of the sink. And so the DNA came from the nail in the nails and the assay swabs. Was that from Amy? I think that's what they said.
The pain from that night and its aftermath will never go away. But with the knowledge we have now, we can share some peace. God bless Amy, Jennifer, Sarah, and Eliza. They will always be a part of our city's identity. God bless their families, and God bless Austin. We'll now be happy to answer some questions. I'll turn it over to you.
Tonight, a KVU Defenders exclusive. I'm Mike Rush.
And I'm Quita Culpepper. A fight between the FBI and local investigators in one of...
Okay, I don't know what happened to that, but under Amy's nails and multiple girls' assay swabs. Yeah, so one of the families spoke years ago, and they are talking now. I don't know what happened to that press conference. It's kind of lengthy, but I don't know why it flipped over to the next one. Let me try to get it back up. Now we got gremlins and goblins and ghouls coming out into the... Is Mercury in retro? Good Lord. Mercury goes into full retro. It likes to mess with me. It's my ruling planet. All right, hang on. Okay. Let me pull that back up. Okay, you're on your way home now, ma'am? Alrighty. Stop and grab me something. I'm just starting to get hungry, so a little something would be nice. I shop for Five Guys burgers and fries. Listen to her. See, Lord, I know this woman too well. Don't forget the peanuts.
Has passed. We have endured more, have been disappointed, and have felt defeated and devastated. But today, with the resilience needed to endure something this painful, recognizing the scars, the suffering, and while there's no change to the horror, no wiping away any of the wrongs, no diminishing the grief, we can finally express a deep sigh, a release that comes from knowing. Thanks to advancements in science, thanks to the relentlessness of our committed detectives who have lived and breathed this case for decades, thanks to the support of Austin Forensics, and thanks to an unwavering commitment by the City of Austin, today, finally, we have an answer. I'm joined today by our City Manager, T.C. Broadnax, and Deputy City Manager, John Fortune, and we will hear from Austin Chief of Police Lisa Davis, Detective Dan Jackson, who has led this case since 2022, Dr. Dana Kotovy, Director of Austin Forensic Science Department.
Oh, I got a little nervous because I know about Lady Bird Lake there in Austin. I'm like, oh, the Austin what? Oh, goodness.
District Attorney Jose Garza, Mindy Monfort of the Texas Attorney General's Office, And finally, and most importantly, family members of the girls. Chief Davis.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. After 34 years, the Austin Police have made a significant breakthrough in this case. This is one of the most devastating and haunting cases in this city's history. This unthinkable crime has weighed heavily on the hearts and the minds of the family, the community, and the detectives who have tirelessly worked this case. As a mother, I cannot begin to imagine just the grief and the pain that you have endured. For the families of Amy, Eliza, Sarah, and Jennifer, today marks a critical step forward in honoring not only their memory, but getting at truth and accountability. We now have evidence linking a specific individual to this case, Robert Eugene Brashers. The only physical evidence located at that scene has been matched to him. Brashers died by suicide in 1999 after a standoff with police in Missouri.
He died after a standoff with the police in Missouri. This guy was already a bad guy. I don't know what caused that standoff yet. I haven't looked up that information yet.
And his DNA has since been, and before this connection, he has been connected to murders and rapes across the country. I am grateful for the advancements in science and technology that have allowed us to uncover this critical evidence, identify Robert Eugene Brashers, and move closer to delivering long-awaited answers for the family and our community. While this is a major step, many questions remain. Our work is not over. The Austin Police will continue to work closely with the State Attorney General's Office, Travis County District Attorney's Office, the Forensic Science Director, Dr. Kadavy, and other partners to ensure this case continues to move forward responsibly and with integrity. I want to thank the men and women who have given countless hours across decades to this case. They have kept this case alive and in the memories of many here in Austin. Their commitment demonstrates the will to never give up and what it means to seek justice and to seek truth. And their work will have a ripple effect across this country when they assist with other investigations. At this time, I'd like to introduce Detective Dan Jackson, the lead investigator of this case. Dan, as the mayor said, started this case in 2022, and we are here today because of the work Dan has done on this case. Dan will now walk us through a timeline on the investigation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Jackson. I'm the lead detective, like she said, and I've been on the case since 2022. Before we get started, this case wouldn't be where it is today if there wasn't some recognition to everyone who helped me from different agencies across the country. So when I name you, if you wouldn't mind standing up so everyone could appreciate the work you've done over the last few years. But first, I'd like to thank the Texas Attorney General's Office Cold Case Unit, the Texas Rangers and DPS. Y'all can stand.
The Texas Rangers.
DNA Labs International, Signature Science, and our case management staff at our forensic division, the ATF, Missouri State Police, the Greenville, South Carolina Police Department, the Kentucky Police Department that I can't name specifically because they're still working on their case, but which we'll get into later. Steve Kramer and Steve Bush at Indago Solutions, Anne-Marie Schubert, Dr. Bruce Badoli, and Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick.
What about CC Moore?
Okay, so I'm going to walk y'all through how we got to where we are today. I'll start with a brief overview of the history of the case, but what I'm not going to do is go into...
Yes, Purple. This is that case. This is the yogurt shop murders where they've just finally found the rightful person to point the finger at. Yeah, and there were 4 original people charged. 2 of the people had their charges dropped, but 2 did not, and one was sentenced to prison and served 8 years of that prison sentence.
The details of that aspect of the investigation, because it wasn't my investigation, And so I'm just going to kind of generalize and get you guys caught up to speed of how we got to where we are now. Okay. So just sort of a historical.
And before he gets started here with their little, I almost said cover up, with their little clean it up here situation. What evidence did they use to convict the first guy? Did the bullet not tie to a gun he owned? Is not his DNA, right? Or would we go and convict somebody else whose DNA wasn't at the crime scene?
Picture of what this looked like in the days after the yogurt shop caught on fire. As you can see, it appears to be just your everyday middle America retail space in a strip mall. Here's a diagram. It's a bird's eye view just of a sort of layout of the building. If you're not familiar with this case, the customers would be there in the front.
Sunflower, are they trying to tie this guy to Kentucky? I see your comment, and that's got me intrigued. I'm thinking, is it what I'm thinking it is? Wow.
Obviously, and then in the back is where the fire was started and the girls' bodies were discovered. Sarah, Eliza, and Jennifer were together, and Amy was a little bit closer to the front. So the gist of the MO of this case was the perpetrator entered or remained near closing time when no other customers were present. The girls were found nude and had been tied up with their own clothing as ligatures and bindings. There was evidence of sexual assault. All four had been shot in the head with a .22 caliber pistol.
Dang.
And Amy was also shot with a .380 pistol. And then the building was out.
2 different pistols? Would lead them automatically to assume 2 people were involved. Huh.
On fire before the suspect left the scene. Remember, this is 1991. This is not 2025. So DNA technology is primitive at best. Okay, but the detectives back then had the foresight to go ahead and collect what evidence they could, and had swabs taken for possibly DNA testing or some sort of testing that maybe in the future they did it both at the scene and at the autopsies, which turned out to really help us with the amount of DNA we were able to get later. Some of the only really physical evidence that was recovered was a spent .380 shell casing that was located in the floor drain. There were no .22 caliber casings recovered. And the fire and then the water from the fire department basically destroyed pretty much anything else that you were going to try to collect or try to process as crime scene.
So all they had was the bullet casing. Wow. What did they charge? How did they convict another guy? I got to watch his trial now.
Back then, they got thousands and thousands of tips that came in, a lot of quote confessions from different people, but it led to nowhere and no arrests were ever made. There was one confession from a juvenile named Maurice Pierce. 8 days after the murders, Pierce was at North Cross Mall, which is down the street from the yogurt shop, and he's with his friend named Forrest Wellburn. He was carrying a .22 pistol in his waistband. He was 16 at the time, and he was arrested for the possession of the pistol and taken down to the homicide office, where he was interrogated for several hours by Detective Hector Polanco. At the end of it, he confessed, and the next morning he spoke to the lead detective, Detective John Jones, as well. I'm not going to go into the details too much here, but basically Pierce confessed that he had lent the .22 to his friend Forrest, and Forrest claimed that he had killed the girls. When Forrest Wellburn was questioned, he mentioned that his 2 other friends, Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott, along with Pierce, had all gone to San Antonio the night after.
So he's friends with the 2 guys that did end up getting convicted. So he tattletaled on nobody was really doing anything wrong to start with. So Woozy, apparently in the state of in Texas, Springsteen, the guy who was wrongfully convicted, could get $80,000 for every 8 years served. or for the 8, I think it was for every 8 years, something like that. He ended up serving 8 years. They do owe that guy a lot of money.
Back then, the police interviewed all 4, and they were eliminated as suspects. The ballistics on the .22, to see if it would try to match it with the fragments from the murder scene, were inconclusive at best. The projectiles are highly fragmented and distorted. I can tell you that is not an issue that has been overcome since with new technology. I had them looked at just a couple months ago, and still the ballistics expert was like, there's not much we can do because there's...
Oh, they didn't get that ballistics experts from Delphi to come over here and testify, did they?
So fragmented. So then the case stalls over the next 5 years or so. The personnel gets scaled back. They had several task forces come and go. But in 1999, the new task force revisited this Maurice Pierce confession. And they go ahead and interrogate 4 subjects, the 4 from that had been originally interviewed back in 91 or early 92. Maurice Pierce, Forrest Welburn, Robert Springsteen, and Michael Scott were reinterrogated in several years later. During the interrogations, they were able to get confessions from Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott. They were not able to get confessions from Forrest Welburn or Maurice Pierce at that time. All 4 subjects were arrested for capital murder in 1999. Forrest ended up being no-billed by the grand jury, and Pierce's charges were eventually dropped. Michael Scott and Robert Springsteen were put on trial separately. Both were found guilty, pretty much based on each other's confessions and implicating each other. Michael Scott received life without parole, and Robert Springsteen received the death penalty.
Now, why would 2 grown men independently confess to a crime they never committed? Read technique, maybe?
There was never any physical evidence linking them to the...
I'd like to see their interrogations. Wonder if we can get our hands on those, if they're out there on the YouTube streets somewhere, because let me write that down. Does anybody have those, I wonder? Can we FOIA those?
Yogurt shop. Of course, they go through the appeals process like any other murder trial. While they're on appeal, or while they're appealing their conviction, a landmark Supreme Court case comes out called Crawford v. Washington. It reformulated what hearsay statements can be admitted in criminal cases under the 6th Amendment. Basically, you can't use someone else's written or videotaped confession against somebody else if they themselves are not taking the stand. You can't cross-examine a video. You can't cross-examine a written statement. And then so that's what was used in their trials. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeal granted them a new trial for Springsteen and Scott.
Okay.
So in preparation for the new trial, the district attorney's office and the police department decided they needed to get some physical evidence to link them to the crime. By this time, DNA had come a long way, and we had a new technology called YSTR, YSTR testing.
YSTR.
YSTR testing looks at genetic information on the male chromosome only, and they were able to get a profile from the asexual assault kit.
Rachel, I didn't watch that yet. The Defense Diaries did interview one of the attorneys. Was it one of Springsteen's attorneys? Did Allie do a lot of the questioning? I haven't watched it yet, but I do know it's out there.
That had 16 markers, or 16 locations with genetic data on it, on the Y chromosome. The kit only tests for specific 16. All 4 of the original suspects were excluded from this profile.
Well, Woozy, I know that one set of parents had absolute questions for the FBI years ago.
In 2009, the charges were dropped pending further investigation. Then over the next several years, hundreds of reference samples were collected for elimination or suspect profiles. First responders, family, friends, any potential suspects, associates. I think we tested 300 or 400 different people in this case over the years. So since 2008, they've tried numerous testing strategies, sent numerous things across the numerous labs. I think we've had 13 different labs over the last 20 years. The difficult part is most of the DNA that was collected is only a few picograms. So we're talking few cells, and it's often a mixture with the victim. extremely difficult. In 2018, the unknown Y profile was resubmitted for retesting because there had been technological advancements. Now, upon further testing, the YSTR was expanded out to 27 markers, 27 genetic locations, or locations of genetic information for a more complete profile. It's 25 markers, but 2 of those have a double allele to give you 27 total. However, the identity of the profile remained unknown. But also about this time, we're starting to find this YSTR profile on other items taken from the girls, or other swabs. I inherited the case in June of 2022 and spent the first few months sort of reviewing it. But one of the first things I did was I met with a group of subject matter experts on DNA and genealogy, and we sat around a round table. They were having, some of them are here today, and they were here for a conference, so I was able to get them all in one room together. And we sort of went through the evidence. I wanted to know what I had and what I could do with it. And we kind of came up with a tiered system of best to worst things that we might be able to do something with. And that's where this all kind of hatched. Several items were tested, and we didn't have a whole lot of luck. But fast forward to late June of 2025. I was researching the spent 380 casing that was found on the floor drain to see where it was now and what we could maybe do with it, if anything, and just researching the chain of custody. I don't know what made me go down that rabbit hole that morning, but I did, and I'm glad I did. What I found was that it had not been submitted into the NIBIN system in many years. NIBIN is the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. It's kind of like CODIS for shell casings. You can put it in there, and it'll tell you if it's linked to other shell casings and other crimes.
Oh, I know all about that website. Found it a long time ago. It's very interesting.
It had been put in there a couple times, but it had been a long time. So I spoke with the ATF guys here. A couple of them are here. Jonathan, you're here. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, whether it's in there or not, if it had been many years, resubmit it, because the software has gotten so much better. I mean, we're talking like 3D stuff now. So go ahead and do it. It's not going to hurt. And of note, and this is important later, the original ballistics report said that in all probability, the weapon used from that 380 projectile was limited to an AMT brand backup model 380 handgun that was used to kill Amy. So that's important later. The morning of July 2nd, the ATF sent the 380 cartridge, and that afternoon I was notified of a hit out of Kentucky, an unsolved murder out of Kentucky.
Oh, no. Unsolved murder out of Kentucky. That's the last thing we need. Butterfly, thanks for dropping that link. She's dropped a link into the chat, guys, about an Austin Police Sergeant, Hector Polanco. I just kind of gave it a little glance over, and oh boy.
So I can't name the name of the city. They haven't done their press release yet, but they know who they are, and they did a fantastic job. But myself, a couple others from the cold case unit, and Mindy Monfort from the...
So there will be another announcement in another case that I guess this guy ties back to as well. They're in Kentucky.
AG's office. We flew up to Kentucky to review our cases with their detectives. And so murders did share similar details. I can't go into those. But the preliminary NIBIN results indicate a presumptive positive correlation between the two casings, indicating the same gun was used in Yogurt Shop as it was several years. I'm not going to even tell you the date. Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that's not Bill and Peggy Stevens from Kentucky we're talking about then. So if they had an innocent person in jail, why exactly do they run stuff years later? That's the grand question, Riley. You got Delphi holding on to some DNA for some reason.
That's up there, 98. So all the way to 1998. So when we traveled up there to Kentucky. I took the casing with me so we could do a one-to-one by a tool mark examiner for a definitive comparison as required, just like your fingerprints and...
Oh, God, not the tool markings. Oh, we'll get nervous about the tool markings. That's not a highly Depends on who you ask if that is good enough for tool markings. Now, I'm not going to say this is not the right gun, right? And I hope they got the right gun. And obviously did. It ties back to this guy that did it, that they weren't able to do a lot of this type of testing on the bullet way back when until now. So now they're going to have this tie back to him plus the DNA as well. But if that bullet casing was all fragmented and different things, I got questions about their tool mark analysis now. Oh.
DNA, you still have to do the one-to-one to get it definitive. Results are pending. We should have those this week, but NIBIN has a crazy high accuracy record, and it's also gets peer reviewed before we even send it. So it's in all likelihood. But aside from the MO and the NIBIN hit, there were no obvious links between the two cases. So we kind of sat down and decided, well, what are we going to do next? How are we going to solve these cases together, assuming they are related? And we worked with them on a testing strategy of some items because their case had been cold and they hadn't been worked in quite a few years. So they had some items that could be submitted and retested, including the sexual assault kit. I reached out to their lab and asked them if they had a Y profile in their case, and they had not done one yet. So I requested that they go ahead and do one so we could compare it to our unknown Y and see if in fact we are talking about the same individual. That sort of gave me the idea of, can you also, while you're at it, manually check all your Y profiles in Kentucky and see if you have a profile from another case, another crime that matches ours. If this guy's from Kentucky, perhaps he's already in their database. This is not something you can, it's automated search like CODIS. It has to be a manual search. Because we had tried this once before, nationally. Back in 2018 and into 2019, Dr. Cadavy had reached out to the different labs across the country who do YSTR testing and retain those profiles and asked if they could manually search against our unknown. They returned 0 profile matching. Nobody in the country, at least nobody, it was about six labs or so returned information. Not a lot of labs were doing it back then. So I said, well, it's been a few years, more labs are doing this. Databases are getting a little bigger. Let's do it nationwide again. And so we reached out to all of the labs in the country that do YSTR typing and asked if they could manually search against our unknown profile. And we got a match. We got a hit. Only one.
So when they were trying to figure out who that unknown profile belonged to all those years, they never went and asked the guys that confessed who else was there, because y'all don't match this DNA. Still, what the hell did they convict them on?
South Carolina State Lab was the only lab in the country that responded that they had a match, quote match, to our unknown YSTR. All the others had no hits at that level. And I'm talking, this is at 27 to 27 markers. This is the full profile, and every allele was the same. So it took us a couple of weeks. The results were reviewed for accuracy, and their legal department reviewed it. It took those like the longest 2 weeks because we knew we had somebody, but they wouldn't tell us. So it was a long 2 weeks. The reason it took 2 weeks to review, I found out later, is because they wanted to make sure they were doing it right, because I was the first person to ever ask them for this. Nobody had requested a manual search against their database before. So they wanted to make sure that legally they were on the right footing and that there was no quality assurance issues. So on August 22nd, they sent me the information, and it was from a sexual assault and murder from 1990 out of Greenville, South Carolina. And this was the profile that they had, Robert Eugene Brashers. He has a perfect 27 for 27 match to our unknown profile in yogurt shop. I got on the phone with Greenville, South Carolina immediately, and we started conversations about our different cases, how they similar. And one of the things he said to me was, he said, he didn't know anything about the case. He didn't know what it was. And he said, your victims, were they bound with their own clothing? And the hair stood up the back of my neck. And I knew we were maybe getting somewhere finally with this case. And so I asked for some biological evidence to be sent to me so we could do a one-to-one comparison on the Y, and also to have population statistics done by Signature Science to see how rare this particular Y profile might be. Not all Ys are created equal.
So part of this guy's MO was to bound his victims with their own clothing versus taking a rope in or tape to bound them with. This is a long press conference, guys. I'm not going to play the whole press conference. One of my mods, I believe it was Rachel, did drop the full presser into the chat for you guys, because we're going to take a look at a couple of other things. Hang on, Rachel has sent me something as well. Let me take a look at this really quick, because we're not finished unpacking this case at all. Who is this on that you sent me? Oh, okay, this is that. Okay, I'm going to hang on to this. All right, thank you, Rachel. Let me make sure I didn't get anything else, guys. Hold on, let me double check some stuff here. Okay, all right, Dolphin, I see you. Thank you. And then this, let's see. So what the link that Butterfly dropped a second ago is about a former sergeant who worked at the Austin Police Department, and former Austin sergeant's tactics questioned in yogurt shop murder docuseries. Austin, Texas, the name Hector Polanco is one that lives on in infamy for many who lived in August since the 1990s. The then August Police Department sergeant was known for his interrogation tactics and ability to get confessions. Oh boy, we got a Jerry Holman over there in Texas. He was known to get confessions that were false or coerced. Polanco new interrogation. Former APD detective John Jones says in the HBO Max docuseries The Yogurt Shop Murders, adding, you know the case. Well, it said I lost connection. I guess I'm still here. So that's something else to look into as well with this guy. This case here, I guess he worked the case, right? I haven't watched that docuseries yet, but I think I should. And I haven't even finished the one on Hulu that I started last night. I'm like, I got too much on deck. We're going to take a look at another piece here. The full presser was linked in the chat. We can drop it again if need be. Butterfly has that link to that article I was just telling you guys about there as well. Now, for some reason, because I want to look into more about these guys' false confessions and the time they spent in prison and how they actually convicted them and what they convicted them on. What was the evidence so that the jury was like, yep, that's it, hook, line, and sinker, they did it, right? Who were their defense attorneys and what kind of defense was outlined? There's a lot that I don't know that I want to know now. And then other things started intriguing me as I was looking through different things yesterday about the case and finding different things popping up. I was like, what is going on here? As far as what the backstory is. Okay, so I'm looking for the one where the parents are going to speak. Let me see if it's this one here. Yes. Okay. Now, I haven't unpacked it, and I don't really know the whole story behind it, but I'm getting there. And I want to show you guys a little bit of this.
Defenders exclusive. I'm Mike Rush.
And I'm Quita Culpepper.
And again, I think this one was from 5 or 6 years ago.
Fight between the FBI and local investigators in one of Austin's most infamous unsolved cases, and whether the feds have information that could finally unlock the nearly 30-year-old yogurt shop murder mystery.
Here's KVUE senior reporter Tony Ploheski with federal journalist Brian Bell.
This year will be 29 years.
It's just like it just happened.
We heard a knock on the door at 5:15 in the morning, and it's the cops telling us there was a fire at the yogurt shop. They wanted to know if we were the parents of Amy Ayers.
Our life changed forever that one night.
You don't ever think anybody's gonna come into a yogurt place and shoot you. I mean, and shoot you and all your friends. It just doesn't happen in a yogurt place.
We owe ourselves as a community a resolution to this case.
It's frustrating that we're so close.
Everybody says that you'll be better with time. It don't get no better.
It was a crime that both horrified and broke the heart of Central Texas. 4 teenage girls shot in the head in an I Can't Believe It yogurt shop December 6, 1991. The building torched, and the fire destroying most of the evidence. 8 painful years passed before the police finally arrested 4 men and charged them with capital murder. Then the cases crumbled. 2 of the suspects, Forrest Welburn and Maurice Pierce, never went to trial. The charges against them dropped. 2 others, Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott, were convicted.
We finally got answers. Somebody's going to pay for the crime. I mean, the girls are still gone. It's never going to bring them back. But those guys ain't walking around on the street.
But the courts later overturned those convictions.
It's wonderful, and I'd like to thank God and my families and my attorney for this opportunity. Thank you.
Back to day one. I mean, it's like the murders happen all over again.
I feel like every time we think we've made a little bit of headway, we take steps backwards.
Prosecutors took Scott and Springsteen to trial with no forensic evidence. Investigators had worked for years to get any kind.
Maybe she just reminded him, maybe the girl reminded him of her, Woozy. I don't know. People think weird, right? You can't, and the sad thing is, we all know you can't replace somebody who's gone. You just can't. They may have a similarity, but you can't replace them.
The DNA profile from the crime scene, but the samples revealed nothing. Then in 2008, as technology advanced, police learned that scientists had begun new testing that could at least reveal a male-only DNA strand. Unlike traditional DNA that can prove a person's identity, this type of profile, called YSTR, shows an entire family line of men. Cousins, brothers, uncles, and fathers may all share the same strand. When detectives sent a sample from victim Amy Ayers' body for testing, the profile they got back matched none of the 4 suspects. A fact that led prosecutors not to retry Scott or Springsteen.
I could not, in good conscience, allow this case to go to trial before the identity of this male donor is determined and the full truth is known.
There comes a point when, what else do you do? I mean, we've exhausted all the means that are available to us at this point.
About a decade later, in early 2017, an Austin police cold case investigator learned about a growing number of male-only DNA databases. There was one in Florida that especially interested him. He uploaded the profile into that database, and when he got a match, investigators thought the yogurt shop case was about to take off.
They had a hit, but now we need to know who the hit is.
It was very exciting to have something to pursue, but we knew there was still a long road to getting to a resolution, but to have a lead at all was really good news.
Investigators say they realize the person linked to the profile may have hundreds or thousands of male family members. Still, it was the biggest clue they had gotten in a decade.
It was from the FBI. We thought, well, now that is really exciting news because that's a law enforcement agency, and we surely will get full cooperation in seeing what we can learn from this piece of DNA.
Not so fast.
But the FBI said no.
We thought, surely you can't mean this. You can't mean that you could tell us something about this DNA and you will not share it with us.
I thought this was going to be the break that was really going to help us. And what do? We get slapped in the face by the FBI.
Oh, darn. Slapped in the face by the FBI. Because the FBI's like, we can't tell you our secrets.
FBI cites this federal law, saying that the agency can legally provide samples to research databases for population studies if personally identifiable information is removed. The agency said that such profiles, quote, are not suitable for matching to an individual.
And if by law this can't be done, I think it's time for a change in our laws.
And the Florida database has this disclaimer, saying it cannot be used to identify a particular individual whose sample is in the database. All donors are anonymous and samples can't be traced back to specific individuals.
Uh-oh.
The result is a stalemate between local investigators and the FBI, a potential roadblock to justice that is now drawing interest from congressmen from Austin to Washington. United States Representative Michael McCall just last week sent this letter to the FBI, urging them to immediately give any information they can to Austin investigators.
To them, it may not be information they think would be helpful to us. They don't know all the details of our case either, and there might be some little something that is a glimmer of hope that our police department can connect to it.
For the families of Amy Ayers, Eliza Thomas, and sisters Sarah and Jennifer Harbison, what is happening now is the latest in a string of heartbreaks that began that night nearly 3 decades ago.
There are 4 dead girls, 4 families that have gone through 29 years of hell. And you're causing more pain for these families sitting back knowing that you've got the information and you won't give it. How can you do that?
And with every year that passes, the family of the young women pray for a resolution, not only for themselves, but the entire community, and an answer once and for all to the question that has tormented Austin for almost 30 years.
I will not die until this is solved. This is my little girl. And I want justice.
Bless his heart. Why was the FBI nervous back then about that testing, right? Am I still with you? There, my chat's back. It went away. It's acting all a fool today. I'm curious as to why the FBI was nervous about sharing what they did know back then. And as far as the testing and building out these trees, what was the capability back then? And if those donors were all anonymous, they were comparing to. Now it was handed to CC Moore, and I do have an entire video of her talking about this case and how she got to this guy. It's lengthy, so we're not going to start that today. But I did want to bring you guys that piece to show you about the guys that were investigated, ultimately charged, and sentenced. The Springsteens, for some reason, the other guy got out of jail. Like, they overturned his conviction about the confessions and not being able to cross-examine or whatever. I'm looking into their court documents because I want to read some of that. But the other guy, Springsteen, he served 8 full years, wrongfully convicted under a false confession. And we always ask that question, what would cause somebody to falsely confess? Who knows? We're not in the interrogation room. If we're lucky, we get to see the actual interrogation and the breakdown of the person and see the confession. And you get a determination. I've seen those interrogation type videos, and you're like, wow, it's relentless sometimes. But are you strong-willed enough to not cave and give in if you didn't do anything? I don't think we can answer that unless we're in that situation. I would like to think I wouldn't cave and confess to something I just absolutely didn't do, that I'm not going to be so afraid of the big bad Python state that they're going to swallow me up and never to be seen again, right? I don't know. It's really hard to wrap your head around a false confession sometimes, and I fully get that, but they do happen. We have proof. There are people let go from prison every day who are wrongfully convicted, and not all of them are making confessions. Only some of them are. How many people are actually sitting in prison today or over the past 50 years alone that were completely innocent and nobody believed them? Because, hey, you went to court, you had a trial, you were found guilty, shut up, right? Is that where we are? We're just going to like, oh, no, you were convicted, case closed, quit crying about it now. Well, there's a lot to that. There's so many people that have been wrongfully convicted and turned loose and received restitution. Is that enough to pay them back for what they went through? Prison can be a really tough place. Ask Koberger and Stearns. They're not liking it too much. Got the vent people hollering at you. You got gangs threatening you, and guards videotaping you with your attorneys, all kind of stuff. Big bad Bubba standing behind you. Lots of stuff happening in the prison. So do we want to stick innocent people in there and forget about them and not hear their story, hear them out at least? Yeah, I'm willing to listen. She did speak out. We have a clip of that. It's embedded in a longer interview, and I don't want to show the whole thing, but I am working on putting some more stuff together for a longer show to kind of unpack this whole story, and we're going to take a look at that as well. I have it already queued up for a show. There's a lot to unpack with that when you go back and think 30 plus years, right? And the fact that not only was it just an unsolved cold case, but there were people convicted, and it's like, what in the world happened? And it needs to be one of those cases that's brought to light so people can understand how this stuff happens, and that moving forward, understand when somebody says, hey, I got a concern about this case, that they may legit have a concern, and we're not just making noise on the internet for people to come watch our shows, right? That's where I get nervous with the Delphi coverage. People expect I'm going to feel that way about Koberger, and I don't. And plus, if I come out of the gate screaming everybody's innocent and the state's the big bad python, then who's going to believe me when there's a real case with a real issue? That's where I sit with a lot of that. But we'll continue to unpack all of the information as it comes down. You guys go back and catch the top of the show for the other updates we did. Yeah, I won't be streaming this weekend. I'll be gone tomorrow to the river with the fams, having a fish fry. And I heard there's shrimp involved. Ooh. I'm going to sit on I'll video the river and show y'all what it looks like. If y'all want to see the river, I'll show you. Yeah, it became unsolved, Riley, when people were finally cleared. The timeline of events, right? I was making notes last night of the different dates and the timelines of when things were happening, because we're all visual people over here and we like to know those kind of things. It's great to hear a story, but now we need to know the deets, right? We got to make it make sense in our head, and we're big on that. We are big on making it make sense if we can. And you guys are great about helping us get there in chat. If we don't know something or a detail and we've missed it and we're just starting to come into the story, you guys always have great information to add to the conversation. And I appreciate that. We are Coffee and Crime Conversations, and I just love you guys coming in and chatting it up with us. Like Forrest says, you guys, please hit like, notify, and subscribe and share. Turn the bells on. Let me hit y'all with some bells and whistles. And y'all be safe on them YouTube streets this weekend. Don't make me have to send y'all caution vests and stuff. Be careful of the potholes you fall in. You can't climb out sometimes. I'm going to go binge watch TV tonight and do mindless stuff. And I sit it all down on Friday evenings, and that's what I do. I'm going to be working over the weekend when I'm not at the fish fry. I'm going to get in touch with Taya, touch base with her about the Letcher County story we're going to be covering more on, and we'll finish unpacking some more of this case. And I still have some stuff in the works for the Idaho case, and we'll keep an eye out for any new videos that drop over the weekend. And we'll unpack next week as it unfolds. Guys, thanks for coming in and giving us a great week of true crime here on the channel. We appreciate it. Y'all get outside and touch some grass. Y'all know how I roll. Get out there and let me breathe the air. If I don't breathe the air, I don't feel right. So I'll be headed out the back door in just a few minutes. All right, guys, y'all be safe on the YouTube streets, and I'll see you around, and I'll see you come Monday.
Thank you all for watching this here video.